is elementary. Try to separate them. It's an illusion. Try, and you will only come to this conclusion. Love and marriage go together like a carabao and trike. This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Life isn't easy with Heidi, American wife, so uptight. George tries, but sometimes cries, but the love each other you cannot deny. Married life like no other. Love and marriage go together like a carabao and trike. This I
Them almost look like a chain hanging off of me. The oxygen. Good morning. Good
It
morning.
does, doesn't it?
All right, guys, look at this. Can we get an audio check? Promise you, we're not gonna funky up, funk this live stream up. We didn't mention anything about being late. George is always late. Okay, George, you're fired, and that $5 a month thing is about out. So, all right, guys, we are really going to work hard at keeping this live stream from cutting out. Okay, there you go. Hey, we came across an interesting topic that got me all into my Philippine situation. And we thought we would save the topic just to troll you guys and get you in here. Welcome to Philippine Antics. If you guys haven't subscribed,
Magandang umaga, masating abak
ask them to subscribe in Tagalog.
Subscribe in Tagalog.
Okay, so, and be sure thumbs up, thumbs down on this. Let's get the algorithm going. So today's live is going to be dealing with what George is, a has-been that has returned to his home country, the same as us has-beens that leave America and other countries and come here. There's has-beens everywhere. So this is George's favorite subject, being a has-been.
Look what I can do.
Okay, so this is going to be a has-been situation of a Filipino that has returned to his country, the same as George. Was it 30 plus years you were in? How long were you in America, give or take? How long in America, George? This guy's was there for 30. Give or take, that's you?
30 years.
Okay. So this guy has returned and he's all in his feelings because he's being treated differently. So that's going to be the basic topic today, that in America, you do this hustle situation. And then when you get to the Philippines, there's like this whole different feeling of situations. We were going to talk about Filipinos outright. Let me find exactly what's going on. Say your hellos again. Let's see. That's not it. I got to go in here and find it.
Hello. Good morning to you, Wacamo. Good morning to Buddy. Good. I can't read with this 3 glasses on.
Well, take them off, you ning poop. All right. So basically, all right, in a nutshell, they say it's expensive to be poor anywhere in the world, which there's like some truth to that. You just don't pay with your money. Some people are paying with their dignity. So for has-beens like George that's returned back to the Philippines because he couldn't cut it here as a chicken, he lost his job. This guy had lived in the U.S., kind of like George, where the culture was rewards and hustling, and then you've got you got that funk punk life and all that, and they work you to death, and everything's free, and the medical's free, and the women flow like wine and honey. How'd that work for you, George? Oh, well, yeah. So anyways, are they trouble already?
No, not
Okay,
yet.
yeah, no. So yeah. So, anyways, the guy came home to realize in his home country, and I'm going to pose this question. George only knows part about this. I've been hopped on coffee for about 2 hours. That coming home to his own country, he's being judged based on a costume situation that he wears, aka if he's wearing flip flops, his wife beater, and dressed typically how you would as a Filipino, you get treated one way. And if you're dressed up or your skin is fair or you got a beautiful chick like me on your arm, that you get treated a different way. Like George, we like literally the last few times we went to immigration, they literally have brought me inside, or like when we went to the NBI, all the Filipinos were sitting out there. And the moment I walked up, I was like, blah, blah, blah. I didn't have to go sit out there with people. One time we didn't have an appointment, and the other time we did. But there were numbers, and there were still other expats waiting. I don't know. Maybe they weren't light skinned enough. I don't know. I'm just being a little classist or whatever. So, anyways, I'm rambling. I digress. So the situation goes is you're treated based on the skin tax thing, but Filipinos it happens to too. So this was like, no, I kind of have a weird feeling. I've been to Asia, but I've been to multiple countries in South America. I've been to Belize and Cozumel, Mexico. Cozumel is Mexico, but Cozumel specifically in the rich area where the cruise lines were. And I've been to the Middle East. And I've been in some really poor, down and out places, but never once did I feel the way that I had felt here. And I was telling you that this morning. And not to down the Philippines, there's some weird stat that I told George that people, it almost seems they expect me to pay more. I get charged more. And that it's a weird feeling that I don't want to be treated as different. So people are like, oh, Heidi's just got another white girl problem. Kind of like, I mean, think about it. It's like, woe is you being treated with an upper status. Yeah, but it comes with an expectation of having to give more money, or that I've got to, like the kids, we gave out a ton of candy the first few years. I was giving them money all the time. Anybody who looked poor that passed by the front of our house, George goes, you've got to stop doing this shit. So, in other words, I put myself into that trap. But on the other hand, it was like an expectation situation. And if you guys are an expat living here, you definitely have felt the skin tax thing. Like I watch most Filipinos, which are the ones in the fancy places and the resorts, they don't tip. They don't tip, but here, we are like George and me will take the time to even give the back people in the back room. Like when we go to the coffee shop, we give a larger amount and say, hey, give it to the cooks back there, like we did when we go to Tequila Reef and shit. Remember, we brought the cook out and we talked to him, and we were, just being sociable. Me and George, sometimes George is sociable, sometimes he's not. So that's what this is about. Is this guy is calling it a poverty tax, or it's the way that if you're not dressed a certain way or you look a certain way, money expectations and the way they treat you, including the like security guards at banks and stuff, you're liable not to get your door opened up based on if you walk up in a flip flop and a tank top, right? But if I walk up as an expat and I'm wearing a tank top and a flip flop, they're going to be holding that door open.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they bring an umbrella over to me. They come to me in certain areas and they literally approach and walk me in. I don't want this. I'm a very, believe it or not, extrovert, quiet person, homebody that likes to cook and visit family. But I don't like all the I don't like all the extra attention. I'm not trying to get no attention. Bitch, you better straighten that face and those lips up.
No, for those of you to our channel and those for the ones that are used to our channel again, I'm not defending the Filipinos in this regard. Well, technically I am, because I'm not. I'm trying to redirect what's true and what's not.
Yeah, this is
A lot of expats.
This isn't our article. We're just
Well,
telling you what this Filipino's up to.
Here's the thing.
And how we fit into the equation.
Well, you'll hear this a lot from expats. Keyword expats. A lot of expats say Filipinos are racists. Incorrect.
Not classist.
They're classist. Not the same thing. Filipinos discriminate to the size and color of your wallet, not the color and size of your skin or anything like that. It's your wallet they're looking at.
And not to be confused with the culture
That's not cultural
expectation.
either.
I'll
Yeah.
talk
So,
shit and smack on
but
Wednesday when George isn't here so he doesn't blow out of proportion when I start talking about toxic traits of Filipinos that affect the expats that are coming here and how it might affect you because we don't want to get George wound up today.
well,
So there
it's
is a
not
difference.
there.
'Cause
There
they
is a
try to say
reality,
it's
and there's a fair assessment. And there's an unfair assessment.
yeah,
The
and I
unfair,
give them all.
the unfair assessment is Filipinos are racist. No, we are not, or my fellow men rather, because I'm neither. Um, most Filipinos are
Good
not
morning,
racist. They're
Cindy.
classist. In fact, I even said this to Heidi last month, and this is true, and Heidi will attest to this. I said I wear this shirt because people treat me differently when I wear this shirt.
And he's right. If he goes out in those cute little cartoon thing or your shirt, show him your shirt. Stand
Okay,
up.
well, okay.
Here, show
Well,
him your shirt, babe. Lean back and show him.
well,
your...
no, not this. I don't wear this
Oh,
out.
but if you wear
This
that,
is
but if you wore that, they would still treat you different than like
no,
your
no,
dress
no.
shirts.
If I wear this, they probably would. Yeah, it. I would say they probably treat me indifferently, which means I would probably blend right in.
Or let's
But
okay,
if
so
I wear my anime shirts, everybody treats me like I'm Korean. I'm not joking.
right,
I'm
but
not
if but
joking.
if you
Everybody swears I'm Japanese or Korean whenever I wear
so
an
if
anime
you
shirt.
wore that and you stepped off a motorcycle or the e-trike,
They'd
which
probably
is
be
partially
indifferent, which
you,
means
right?
it's
But if you
neither
step
nor.
out of your silver little car and you dress with your dress shirt and your
I don't
nice
have to
get
wear
up,
my. I don't have to drive the car.
I'm just saying,
If
how
I
would they
drive the
treat you
e-trike
different?
with a good shirt on,
Yeah, I mean it's still yeah because it's
no,
not a cheap e-trike, so they still
I'm
consider
not.
that
Yeah,
somebody with
it's not.
money.
Again, it's not because
They would
I'm.
still treat you different.
Point being is I'm Filipino and I speak Filipino, and guess what?
Hey,
It's not
Roger,
because of my race. It's because of how I look.
that's true.
But then again, you know what? I hate to say this. I'm speaking directly to Americans again because I haven't lived long enough in any other country. But in America, whenever I wear a suit and tie, I get free meals, and I'm not joking. I'm not lying.
No,
It
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 is
makes me
true.
sick that when I go to the U.S., I wear a suit and tie. So most of the times I get free meals because they think I'm somebody important.
So, which it'll bring, okay, so it'll bring us around to it can happen, but I feel a lot of the things we've been talking about here lately. And I told George, maybe it's because I've been here now 5+ years. Maybe it just seems like it because I'm sure if we were doing these lives all the time in America, we would be saying this, and that, similar to being in America. We could probably fit this into every country except for I've been to a lot of countries and it does seem heavy. So, like when there was a survey and people asking about toxic traits, and I'll get into that on Wednesday about the Filipinos, and then expats making comments, Filipinos making comments, they all had about the top 5 things and they repeated them. Different accounts, hundreds of accounts repeated the same thing. And I'm like, well, could it be they're really experiencing that? But if you think about America, they could probably come up with the same 5. So, hey, Papa Smurf, hey, hello from NYC, shouting it out to New York. That's right before me and George came. We spent we spent a couple months, about 6 months in Mexico during the pandemic before we came to the Philippines. It was closed, or we'd have came sooner. And we went to New York because we couldn't apply. He had to renew his passport. We didn't want to travel with him with no time left over. We went to New York at the very beginning of the pandemic. It was rotten, like nobody was on there. We've got footage of it. The streets were empty. There were no, I mean, it was the wildest, craziest thing during that time frame, how empty New York was. We even seen the naked cowboy was out there in his bikini out there playing the guitar. And it was wild that he was even out there and stuff. As a matter of fact, in the video, they were jerking on him to get him off the street.
It's kind of messed up because we posted that video and YouTube took it down.
Yeah.
It's like, really, he's not even naked.
He was no more than people putting their bikini stuff on here. But yes, it got pulled down. But no, it was a good time. Good time. I had been to New York before. My mom lived in New York for a long time, and it was quite interesting. So we missed New York, and it was wild to see the embassy in New York and everything because we couldn't use Miami. So they made us. That's the same with when we got married in America. You're supposed to register your marriage through that. They wouldn't even accept any paperwork at Miami. There was no, don't send us nothing, nothing. We're not accepting. They weren't accepting nothing at Miami. You couldn't show up to actually register. You couldn't do nothing. So we put it off and put it off and put it off. So, anyways, we
Yeah.
had to go all the way to New York.
Thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate the support. Scott says,
Hey, Scott, what's going on?
well, actually, Tia Chong says, but you are important, Kuya George. And then Scott says, just wear a ball cap and say, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones. But here's the funny part, Scott.
I got you a hat coming.
No, here's the funny part, Scott. I actually was debating whether I should wear a hat right before the live or not. Like, if I was going to wear it. And I was like, nah.
George's claim to fame is he was an Indiana Jones.
There it is.
He was that little kid.
Yep.
Yep.
I told Harrison Ford, you know what? Just, you're not feeling well today.
He really didn't like them snakes, did he?
Just, bang that guy. That didn't sound right, but okay.
Bang it with the snake. When in doubt, just bang it with the snake. When in doubt, can I get some? Bang it with the snake.
Right.
Hello.
Factual thing. Harrison Ford banged that guy because he had the big D that day and didn't feel like doing this fight scene, so the director ran with it, and apparently it was a hit.
Slippery. Hey, good morning. Good morning. But let's hear these comments because, and here's the thing, some of this probably at least applies in Southeast Asia. I don't find Southeast Asia to be the cheapest places in the world, like as far as like how poor people are, even probably the Philippines compared to some poorer countries that are here in Southeast Asia. There's some outright poor places. Matter of fact, we almost made a few bad decisions instead of going to Mexico. Remember, we were discussing the countries we were going to head off to for 6-7 months and wait on the outside that were open. And George was like, God, I'm glad we didn't go. Like there were some we were like, there would have been a major language barrier. There was religion barriers. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb, man.
I tell you what, the one thing I will never forget in Mexico is when Heidi left her phone
when I had
in the supermarket.
That was a horrible day. That was horrible. It was a brand new phone. And I had the iPhone, and that's exactly what I did. I always keep my grocery list, and George warned me a million times. And this is like a small Walter Mart, but not a Walmart, not quite a grocery store, but it's big. It's pretty good size. It's like half the size of Walmart's. It's not tiny like this grocery here.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say half. It's about the size.
Yeah,
it's very close to it. Yes.
I set it down. I was putting things in the cart, and I set it right there on the shelf because the grocery list was on there. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. No. You can tell the story.
Well, I only remember the part where I freaked out. That was it. Because
no. Heidi left the phone on the shelf, and here's the thing. I said, let's go up front. Maybe somebody turned it in, and that's exactly what they did. They turned it in. Point being,
and the person was still in line.
Yeah,
remember,
the person was right there, and here's the thing. Remember,
and I will let you guys know there are, in saying all of this, a lot of this we cover, unless you hear me flat out say, like, I'll make jokes and shit, but if I'm serious, I'll be like, I'm fucking serious. I believe in that shit. You guys will know when I'm real. Okay, but a lot of the topics we cover is a group discussion, what's out and about there, some of the things going on here. And it's kind of so I want to let you guys know there are a lot of Filipinos that would turn phones in. They put like driver's license, wallets, the money are still in there. I see that on the Mabalacat City Post, on the Angeles City. So there are very honest, nice people that don't judge. We're not saying this is every Filipino. So let me put out what do you call that? Not a PDA or a personal. No, I'm always. Yeah, that basically
PDA.
this could. Personal displays of affection is a no-go with George. Not
what?
In the house. I got a PDA sign up in every goddamn room. True story. You and the freaking cats, man.
I have to tell the people at the bank I have a COVID.
Here's the deal. Like literally, I almost put George and those cats out. Did I not? I said, that's it. Get rid of all the cats. And they said, "You got to go." And I'm tired. I had a total nervous breakdown yesterday, guys. True story. So let me tell you what happened. I know I'm off track here. I had a total breakdown because I'm going from one subject to another. I had a total breakdown. By the way, guys, I'm glad to see you guys because I almost died yesterday. It was a bad morning and it was a bad day. So maybe that's what. Wow, look at my eyes. You see my eyes? How do I look today? So,
Shifty.
so shifty. So yesterday everything seemed wrong. Like the cats wouldn't stay out of stuff. They were jumping on me in the hospital bed. My skin's been broke out, burning, itching. My skin's been dry. My chest was tight. I couldn't get a full breath yesterday. No matter what I ate, I was either nauseous or didn't feel like it was the right thing. Nothing was right. No food tasted right. Nothing drank. I couldn't get enough to drink. Like I was just totally bitchy, like a 2-year-old child. True story. And I told you that. I said, I'm just dissatisfied right now. Everybody's got to go. The cat's got to go. You get out of here. Just leave me alone situation. I was freaking out. And I think it's because my anxiety's built in because I stay around the house a lot since I've been sick, especially. So that wasn't a problem. George started cleaning house and started doing things because I was complaining about the dust or the cat hair or this was on the floor. So I was just like moody, like a 9-month-old person, like a 9-month pregnant woman person. Oh, no. So, anyways, so the situation is that if you're in the Philippines, this does happen everywhere. Let me get back to the main point. But I was totally dissatisfied. And there's going to be days, I guess the point is that people, depending on their mood, what's going on in their life and everything, like this guy might have had a bad day when he made this full post. Somebody pissed this guy off because he specifically talked about security guards and he specifically pointed out certain people in his article. And I don't know. I just don't think he's been thinking about this a long time. But these situations can happen in a lot of countries. I think it's happening more here because the amount of income, the lack of jobs. Well, that may not be the reason why. Lack of jobs wouldn't be the reason why they're treating people with classist. Is it
No.
because they need the money or they're just looking down on them? Or is it like in India where they have what do they call them, different levels of color that they
No, no,
put them
no.
in
It's no different in the U.S. It's again, for example, you don't have to follow my example. What I'm saying is, guys, if you wear a suit in the U.S., people treat you differently when you take that suit off. Anybody who's worn a suit on a regular basis and take it off will see the difference.
But me, they won't.
The reason being is it's innate.
Idea.
It's innate human nature where if you think somebody of greater power, what I'm saying is if you serve them the proper way, that they can uplift you. So it's just human nature that you do that.
Speaking of which, what was that movie we watched yesterday? That's kind of
Which one?
because the one with them on the beach. The one where the office worker was there with their boss and they were treating each other different.
Send help.
Send help. We just watched a new movie yesterday, and basically, when you said the suit, I thought about the boss. He's a multimillionaire. He controlled the girl. He didn't like her. He thought she was ugly. He treated. I think her name was literally Susan or Karen. Was it Susan?
Well, that's a good.
He treated. Yeah, that's why it kind of clicked.
That's a
this
good
movie.
example.
It's a good movie. Watch it. It's called
an
Send Help.
alpha. It varies per situation. For example, in that movie, just real quick, right before the plane crash, him and this strategic planner, which he thought he was just receptionist. No, really, that's how low he thought of her.
Yeah, and she
He was-
wasn't. She
he
kept
was-
the company
yeah.
together. Like
He
she did all the
was-
spreadsheets. She
yeah.
was the main person keeping this corporation together.
In the real world, he's the CEO, but then the plane crash, and then they're basically the survivor mode, and he doesn't know jack squat, but she's a survivalist. So what I'm saying is,
They were making fun of her because she
Right.
wanted to be on the
But
Survivor show.
on
and
that island, she's the alpha. Again, the alpha role has nothing to do with. It just means that at that point in time, how can you help the group? Who can you help in the group? So what I'm saying is that's alpha is varies per situation. You can be an alpha in one situation and be a zeta in in one
And
other
that-
situation.
We talked about that.
Well,
How we
they say
complete each
sigma,
other.
but what?
that's how we also complete each other in different countries, different places. There's times where I won't do or say anything or take over a situation, and then there's times where you do. I think that's why we get along most of the time. And we always say we complete each other. People have a high belief that I boss everything in this house, that
Well,
I run everything in public, that I'm, my outgoing, bursting ways that you guys see me. But it's not true. I've told you, and you've seen George on air pop off on people. You've seen him on video pop off on people. So there's a time and a place for it. But on that island, it got switched around for sure.
well, yeah, and like I said, it's you guys have to realize that how you carry yourself does matter. Now, here's the sad part. Just real quick, long story short, TLDR. There's this old Filipino story. There's a birthday party and everybody's invited in the barangay. Basically everybody in the neighborhood, and everybody started like they all went, and of course everybody was wearing their suits in the barangay. Well, they were wearing barongs and Maria Claras, which are the suit equivalents or cocktail outfits in the Philippines. They showed up in the party, but this one farmer showed up in his farm clothes, like a normal guy, and everybody in the party ignored him. Everybody ignored him. So what he did was he felt out of place, so he went back home and he wore his best barong, his best suit, and he went back to the party. And when he went back to the party in his best suit, everybody was like, "Oh, hey, Juan, how you doing?
They
Oh,
do it in
yeah."
America too, for
And then,
sure.
so what he did was after that, when he went to the dining table, well, it's like all you can eat. Most Filipino parties are all you can eat kind of buffet deals. It's not really formal. He started grabbing fish and chicken and ice cream and starts shoving it in his suit. And he says, "Oh, here, suit. Here, have some fish. Here, suit. Have some ice cream. I know you like that." And everybody starts staring at him like, "Why are you doing that?" And they said, "Because when I came here as myself, you guys never accepted me."
Which can happen in a lot of
And
places.
this is
Yeah.
an ancient story. This is an old story during the Spanish times. What I'm saying is, this has nothing to do, first off, this has nothing to do with Filipinos. But this is human nature. And this is way back when nobody had nothing. And it's because it's how you present yourself, is how people treat you. And that's not the right way to treat people. Fact. I'm just saying.
hmm yeah, so it really made us think about the whole situation
Yeah, Theo
of
Chong says case system or caste system, depending
the
how.
caste system.
Yeah.
That's what, like in India, it's
Yeah.
really, really bad. So I would say the same thing happens in America.
No,
If I
same
went
thing,
to a
yes.
party or something, it'd be the same thing if I showed up with this ripped up shirt and uh, you're actually judged on everything. Like the first thing people can only pick on me about is I'm big and loud, and usually I'm not even loud in public. They make the judgment, they're making that snap judgment, just like we've had a lot of shit about my health. Immediately, we knew when I mentioned my medical condition, what's the first thing I was judged on? Was, oh, she's fattened because she's eating donuts and she's ordering fast food. And usually these same people talking have their own health issues, they're overweight and everything, but they pass on this judgment. And so it is wild and how people do this. But when I think about it, this has been going on forever.
No, no,
1700s,
again,
like back in the day,
this
we've been
is
watching a
this
lot
is
of
the thing,
these.
yes.
We've been watching. I'm into the Oregon Trail thing, traveling from Missouri to California, and they were passing judgment on each other all the time. Matter of fact, some of it could be even more wicked back then. If you sat a certain way, if you sat with your legs, like we do now with our legs partially cropped open, you were just
Well,
a
here's an
war dog
example.
back
This
then.
is very
So it's
this
a
is very current, and this is everybody will understand this. Jeff Bezos showed up in Coachella. was shit
Hey, what's
clothing.
going on?
Well, when I say shit clothing,
Oh, we were
he wore a $12 shirt.
and
But
so
guess
did
what?
Kendall
Yeah,
Jenner, the
here's
Kardashian.
the thing. The reality
Trash,
is
trash.
most people with real money, I know personally, I'm not even talking about Jeff Bezos, that I knew
They
that
don't
were
have to
millionaires
look rich.
that I was friends with, that again took me to their house, and I said, I'm like, oh my god, and they took me to took me out in their car. I was like, oh my god. But guess what? You watch them, they're wearing
We were talking about
white
the
t-shirts,
Coachella.
holes in their shirt,
Mhm.
jean shorts, cut off shorts. No,
No.
real rich people don't have to prove their worth.
So that's a good point. 60 to 70% of the people that went to Coachella financed, borrowed, begged to go there. And it turns out that they can't even afford to be there. These are bitches that can't even afford their
Right.
groceries. And a lot of them are social media people. And we've been telling you guys for years that a lot of these social media people don't get reimbursed. People don't pay for our meals. They pay for certain people's, depending on what level you're at. But most of it's not. So, like, even here, you got a lot of Filipinos that are vlogging and they're spending excessive money. It's the same with Coachella. And those guys were spending thousands of US dollars to look rich at Coachella.
No,
They
yes.
couldn't afford none of
Yes.
it. And so it's kind of the same situation that I've noticed is yes, the rich will not actually
No,
display
they will not try. They don't try.
And it was weird. I was like, those celebrities aren't wearing nothing but a white t-shirt and like their clothes look like they were from Walmart.
Because richest people are the thriftiest people on earth.
Yeah, there's no reason. So here, though, I will have to say, being we're discussing the Philippines, I feel, and I've tried it, whether I'm wearing like my black dress,
Well, that
and
applies
my
in the
shawl,
Philippines.
or here, like just wearing basic stuff, I get treated the same no matter what. White, chunky girl that can afford
Heidi's,
to eat, and I'm rich
Heidi's a
because
foreigner.
of I'm
That's
big.
her outfit.
That's my outfit. So it would be the same probably if I showed up. I don't know if I guess I would get that in Japan.
Well, I had a mentor in the U.S. and he is the most hardest A person I've ever known. No, I'm serious. Actually,
Yeah, no,
when
he's
I
great.
quit my job, I quit because I couldn't take it. And in fact, his wife says, "Why are you quitting?" He says, and then he's like, "Oh, never mind." She says, "I get it." But anyway, no, we're serious. But here's the thing. He said, he said, George, remember, when people smell like money, they don't have any.
The more somebody touts, and that I think that goes for everything, and the more they throw shade, like no, it's true, it's really true. But see, I wish I'd have learned that lesson a long time ago, because I don't know how many times, and even George in the beginning of a relationship, I would say, oh, but look at all that they've got, and look how nice their car is, and how perfect their kids are, and I used to go into these woe is me things and stuff, and it's like, and George is like, I doubt it. Like like you said, the more they were doing that, like you'll see a lot of poor people go into rich neighborhoods to trick or treat, and they do that intentionally. I got some sisters guilty of that one. And the situation of like that, like they didn't go to the local mall, in Bradenton, the small one that, I grew up around. They literally went to the fancy Sarasota one that had the biggest light displays so they could show off and take photos and videos for their channels. Or, in other words, they're always trying to be something that they're not.
Yeah, and you can't judge
I was
people.
always in that. I was
You
like,
don't.
how come I can't? Or, like when I was feeling weird, and then George has taught me so much in the last couple years, and I should know that in my, mid 40s at this. But you know what? Sometimes the social media feeds you. These poor kids seeing all these kids in fancy clothes, and they got to be something bigger and better than they are. Let me read what he said, this gentleman in here that was Filipino that returned. So, to continue the story before we go into more, leave your comment if you feel that you are skin taxed here as an expat. Have you been to other countries, guys, where you quite didn't feel it? And I can mention several countries I didn't till I got here. But I think the country here, well, it was pretty poor in Egypt too. But I didn't feel I had to I think it was all the sick animals, all the little kids on the street. The poverty hits you in the face here in the Philippines. At least when we were in the mountains of Mexico, it didn't hit me. The people didn't play into a certain role. I didn't notice the poverty look, because a lot of Mexicans didn't have jobs there either, babe. But I didn't see I don't know, but anyways, so let me go on here. The guy worked in the US for 30 years. I lived in a culture that rewarded the hustle. Then I'd come home to the Philippines and realize that in my own country that I was still being judged on the costume that I wear. The poverty tax here is a systematic and cold system. The financial penalty is if you have no leverage, you buy in tingy scraps. Ting, I guess the little packets like people buy day to day. Is that what tingy or ting ting? Sorry, that's an exclamation. Ting scraps. Maybe is he Sabano?
I don't know what that means.
He says that they buy in scraps. You end up paying the highest premium for basic life here in the Philippines. Yeah, a lot of Filipinos live day to day, and usually when you do certain things here, the interest and the cost of doing it a certain way in the long run, I think, is really costing the Filipinos. Remember what I told you that when we've been buying from the landers, that if I keep buying the individual Sprite for us or the individual things, that in the end we're gaining like 10, 12 cans of soda. If we bought one every time we were thirsty up the street, they're charging 80 pesos when it's 70 or 40 or other items. Just in general, I'm trying to give you guys an idea. I do feel Filipinos are paying way too much because they can't afford and the interest thing anyway. So I think that's what
Well, it's okay. I think he's saying ting ting. But anyway, second, Heidi's saying you're spaving versus expending. What I'm saying is you save more by buying more.
Yeah, it says here. He says, yeah, you end up paying the highest premium in the
But
Philippines
that's anywhere in the
while
world.
while the wealthy gets the discount.
Yeah, but in
Buying
the
in
US,
bulk
same
is
thing, though.
saving. But I think it's really rough here. Like
Well,
people are living and they're buying their stuff on a
here it's
daily
more polarized
basis.
than it is in the US.
Right. So basically, Filipinos, let's say the driver gets 1,000. He usually owes money to somebody because he's already taken a loan. Then he goes to the sorry store to buy just a few items, which is sometimes them sorry stores are more expensive than the grocery store because they're buying from the grocery store and marking up. That's true. We've seen them all in the grocery stores. And then there's a markup for the convenience. But so I mean, I can get that fact. I mean, I know this kind of doesn't play in. He put it into his story, so I'm just mentioning what he's talking about. If you look rich, banks and merchants will chase after you. If you look like you're struggling, they treat you like a liability. It says, he goes on to say, I've walked into high end developments in a t shirt and slippers, and they treated me like background noise, um, only to watch the staff transform into VIP servers directly to the foreigners that were walking behind me. I've sat in first class on our own national carrier, which is Philippine Airlines, and the flight attendant double checked my pass with suspicion, but not the expats. And it says here she wasn't checking my seat. She was checking to see if someone like me had even belonged there, he said. He goes, it's a tragedy of the modern Filipino.
I disagree.
He said that we are celebrated as heroes when we've been sending and I was sending my US dollars abroad to the family and people. But we are treated like second class when we return by his own people the moment that he landed, if he wasn't wearing the designer labels or looking the part, especially I would say, and this is on my own, especially coming from America, I guess they're kind of expecting
No,
you
I
to,
disagree. The reason
Okay.
why I say I disagree, again, because, okay, no offense to this guy, he doesn't know how the US works either.
He says, stop bowing to the suit and looking down on my chinillas. My simple clothes are not a permit for your coldness.
Right, but
We shouldn't
here's the
have
thing.
to overcompensate or look like a millionaire to be treated with basic kindness. Now, I will say the same. I don't like, it's kind of the opposite. It doesn't matter what I look like. It's just a high expectation that I'm going to give more, do
Well,
more,
yeah.
and a small form of harassment. Like if we go to a bus terminal, I get that they harass and ask people to buy stuff, but we're really going to get hit first, and they're going to keep
Yeah.
coming and keep coming and keep coming.
Yeah, if you're an expat, you're wearing your suit already.
So he said respect should not be shown should not be a luxury item, especially as I'm coming home. So
Right.
that was his.
Well, first off, again, this guy doesn't know enough. But no offense to him. What I'm saying is, it has nothing to do with your race. It has something to do with how you carry yourself. The reason why I know this is because here's the thing. Okay, now here's another thing. A real good salesperson or person that you're dealing with will know the difference between a person and your suit. Because again, as a real salesman, well, okay, there's three types of salesmen. The one that sell with their heart, which I hate to say this, if you do that, you won't win. If you sell connivingly, you will win, but it's very limited. But if you use both your brain and your heart, you will win as a salesperson, period. What I'm getting at is, again, real rich people do not show their wealth, but it still shows. Little tiny things like they can be wearing what looks like to you like a shirt, a cheap shirt and a cheap short, but they're like brand names that you've never heard of. You know what I'm saying? Or has a little tiny piece of jewelry that you're like, wait a minute, that's real. Because anybody who works with jewelry can tell you what's real and what's not. But anyway, point being is, when I say this guy, he's concentrating too much on the Filipino side. Again, I'm not defending the Filipino as far as, oh, they're racist, or well, at this point he's saying that they're classist, yes, but not because he's Filipino. It's because he can't discern in the US. Here's an example. This true story. This really happened. True story. This happened in the US. And it really pissed me off. I went into a Harley Davidson shop because
Hi,
for those of
Sarah.
you who don't know, I'm a biker. I'm a biker. Okay. And I was looking for two motorcycles. Fact. I went in. Now, if you're in sales, there's something called a line. A line is literally, it's kind of like Toda or tricycle drivers. There's a line who takes the next customer. There's a line of salesmen because it's commission based. So I walk through the door. I look at motorcycles, and the salesperson in line walks up to me and trails me. And I was serious. I wanted a motorcycle, two motorcycles, not one, two. And guess what? Once a white person, no offense, I'm not being racist, but that's what really happened. A white couple walked through the front doors. Guess what happened? What do you think happened? This is called the dump. The moment those two white people came, that person that was in line that was waiting on me dumped me. It's called a dump. That means they leave me alone and help what they think is a potential customer.
Mhm.
Oh my god, I was so pissed. So anyway, no big deal. I
It
was like,
happens a lot.
but
Yeah.
at that point, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna look anymore. Let me go somewhere else. I went next door to the Honda dealership. I bought two brand new motorcycles, cash, cash, cash. That's how serious I was.
Yeah, for those that know our story, and we'll probably do maybe next
Right.
weekend, we'll talk
So
about
what I'm
how
saying
we
is,
came.
this is America. In fact, I can tell you that dealership right now. I know exactly where it is, what road to take. Now I don't remember the salesperson because if I don't give a shit about you, I don't remember you. But if you matter
know
to me,
me
I will
all day.
remember your name. But point being is, that was America. My point is, in America, it's the same difference. It's what you look like.
Yeah, I was just going to add on when we met talk about looks, I had already been on Social Security disability. I was already living in a mother in law apartment. I didn't own a house. I didn't have, a bunch of money. And I had one car. My dad had an old truck. We weren't rich. We were beyond middle class most of our life, if not under that point, working class. So George was the one with the 10-plus-year business, a bunch of money in his savings. I probably didn't even have a couple $100s. So George was the one, and he had the motorcycle. He had a big house, had the swimming pool, had the bunch of land, and there were several cars. So if you guys see a bunch of our old videos, you'll see George go by. He was on his electric skateboard, and he was riding around with his duck because we love
I
pets.
love my
And
duck.
all the cars are right there in the front. That was our place, or George's place, and he had a lot of cars and all that. So George, it's quite weird because now that we're here, they will probably see you as two different things. That you're broke because possibly because you're with me.
Well, I am broke.
Well, we's broke now, but you get my point. They would still see me as rich, and that's probably why you're with me situation. The same as when we keep seeing
No, they will
like
see
the
me
older
as the
expats
yeah.
with a 19-year-old, 20-year-old that you like, yeah, there had to be something up with that. So it's like, yeah, they'll see it that way. But they're always and always have. And what happens when we go to restaurants like 9 out of 10 times? They bring the bill to me. They literally have been
No,
bringing
they
it
do,
to
they
me.
do.
It's weird.
But I don't take offense to it because I knew that's gonna happen. And no, but I mean it's normal.
Yeah, they
And
always hand the stuff off to me, even if
expect that,
George,
guys. If you're in the Philippines, expect that.
if you're with the expat, male or female. So what's going? Yeah, but that's what's going to happen. But here, the men aren't going to notice a difference like I do because the men are usually the ones that hand off the money and then they get the item back. George is the one that's got the items, hands it off to the person, like whether we're in the market, the grocery store, whatever, and then the change, the card, and the card came out of George's wallet, and they'll literally still hand everything, and he's standing right there. So it's kind of I don't know, guys. I guess I'm just bored and I notice these things now, but it always just feels weird. And there was a point in the beginning where I just didn't want to go anywhere. I really got to the point that I felt like I was all tipped out. Kids are always asking for stuff. We had people hitting us no matter where we were walking. It got to be to a point that, and we're not the only ones. You'll hear other vloggers, you're going to hear other people that aren't vloggers that'll say that they have found this to be one of the countries where it seems like you can't even get through the streets sometimes, where as an expat. Now, usually, and I asked George, I said, did they do this to the Filipino people? Like, we've been
Yes.
in a bread store and the people come in there and bug me while I'm shopping.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes,
like,
they
dang,
do.
I can't. And so, you know,
They do.
yeah. So basically, you almost become a little celebrity. Now, a lot of these guys take that on. Oh, the women are watching me and they like me and all. I don't want that shit.
No, like
It is an odd situation. It's almost like a total harassment. So I
well,
remember when I had all my looks back in the day and George didn't, and I was being like groped on the streets because everybody wanted me, like Billy Squire. Everybody wants
yeah.
you.
Just
Dun,
don't
dun.
set
I was like
yourself
being
up.
groped and moped,
Like for example,
kind of like that.
again,
That it was dealing with money now.
there was this kid again. This happened. Well, not recently. It's been a couple years ago. Um,
You know what they like to do now, Ben? They like to pinch my cheeks. They walk up and say,
right.
"Can I squeeze the Charmin?" Or
So
can
I
I?
was in front of the pharmacy. I just got medicine for Heidi,
Hi,
and
Robert.
a
That's
bajau,
probably Robert, but Rob.
a bajau walked up to me and started begging me for money. And I said, "Are you hungry?" And he says, "Yeah."
I said, slap
And I
him.
said, "All right, come on." So I took him to a Korean area, and I said, "All right, go pick what you want to eat, and I'll pay for it." And he did. But here's the problem: when while he was picking out what he wanted to eat, and the lady was, scooping it up for him to take out, or to go, as it were, an older gentleman who had money in his hand, not a beggar, just an older gentleman, walked up, waiting in line right behind me to pay, to get his food and pay. And the freaking sales lady, this is why I never went back to her. She says, "Oh, he'll pay for your food. Just pick what you want." I'm like, "What?"
Well, I always say that we get double skin taxed because when George is wearing specific clothes, or even when he's not, he skin taxes me before I even open my mouth.
Right. No, again, what I'm saying
It's
is,
we
point
both
being
because
is,
they think he's an
if
OFW for
if
sure.
you're perceived with money, people will attempt to take advantage. Now, keep in mind, I did pay for his food again. I mean, but the point being is that should never have happened. I mean, that's different. You know, feeding a child who's begging for money, yes, but somebody in line standing with
Just
money in
random,
his
yeah.
hand that I can see, I'm not blind.
That's another thing. Last 2 years to a year, it seems like Filipinos are gaining some finances. Have you noticed even more than ever they're spending money even on the streets? We, like you said, you watch people get like 20 freaking sticks of barbecue and then they want help from me down the road.
I'm not joking.
I'm about ready to lose my
and I'm
fucking
not lying.
mind. It does seem like every other person is rich here, and this ain't by because they wearing fake Gucci. I
Well-
recognize that shit from a mile away. No, they carrying the bags everywhere on the street. And what about the
like the Trader
freaking
Joe's. Trader Joe.
yeah? We've been
I'm like,
watching.
bitch, you're fake. You're wearing flip flops.
Yeah, because Trader Joe bags. The joke with here, take that down and show them. There's a joke here. Get that. I don't think people have seen it.
Wow.
George got this for me because there was a big joke. We were at the hospital a couple weeks ago for one of my appointments because I'm seeing several specialists. So back in America, these bags went for, I think they were $6.99 if you went to Trader Joe's. And the situation is they started selling them on eBay. This is a couple years back, and then these suckers went for as much as $4,000. It became a status symbol. Like people in New York were walking
it's so
around.
bad. You're only allowed to buy one per customer.
It was. That's how bad it got. They wouldn't even
Like
let
right
people
now,
buy them anymore.
right now, this very moment.
Yeah, that's what they'll actually do. And it's like there you could see me on Martha Vineyard shit like this with my bag. That's what people were doing. It became such a big status. And so we seen not one, but two Filipinos, wasn't it? We couldn't believe it. There were two of them that day in the hospital. And, here I am, almost 55 years old, talking shit because I'm going to the day I die. And I'm like, hey, George. Me and George, like 2-year-old kids, were like, I can only see my grandparents doing this. They're like, he's got a Trader Joe bag. Look. I said, oh my God, he thinks he's all that in a box of Cracker Jacks. I said, because he ain't no box of crackers or a bag of chips. He's a Cracker Jack, right? And I'm like, look at him. Look at him. And then sure enough, George is like, oh, we know it ain't real because look, George, look at his flip flops. Look at the way he's dressed and carrying himself. George, classist and racist over there and stuff. And I had already called him a Cracker Jack. And so we're going on, right? And sure enough, after we were just sitting there waiting, because it took like 2-3 hours to get to this doctor, he wasn't even there yet. Another one went by, and I'm like, "Oh,
joke.
hell no!"
No joke.
I said, "Somebody's sending
the
these
same
in the
within
Billy
2
Pine
hours.
boxes."
It's not even 2 hours. It's within the hour. 2 people showed up with a Trader Joe's bag.
So
It's like,
then,
Jesus
George,
Christ.
I'm sitting here feeling down and out sick. What, about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And George busts in. He's always trying to bring me stuff, and I said, "Stop buying the street food because I'm not eating it." I forgot you brought food in, and I wouldn't eat it because I was afraid it was going to mess my stomach up. But he came in with the bag, and it's got my name on. Oh, hell no. So because I have like a pink backpack I've been carrying since Mexico that I haven't turned loose like as a purse. And I'm supposed to use it when I go to the hospital, which the last time I forgot to take it. It was hanging up there. It'd be easier to carry. He wants me to start carrying around, which I'm afraid to actually take it because they may actually think it's like the real deal. And we probably you had to put a tag on the bum that says I spent $4,000 on this stupid thing, and all I got was this stupid bag.
I could.
Something like that. We could put a label on the bottom. But anyways, that's our story on it. But it's so it is weird. This whole situation is weird for me, and it doesn't matter if I wear a trash bag. Now, I think me being heavy makes people think I'm richer. That's the way it was. I think the old mentality, the old 1700 colonial mentality of the rich and poor, that the situation of being big means money. And definitely, as I was talking earlier, that it means I cause my own health issues no matter what. and I'm not owning up to it. Oh, I'm saying it could be. Nobody knows scientifically 100% why my valve is going out. Nobody specifically knows why I could be clogged in all of my coronary arteries. We don't know. Right now, my lupus and medication and sticky blood, the APS, the other system that I have, is probably more than likely at fault. But I am a fat ass bitch that's been eating. Okay, so I take responsibility. I lived a good life. I banged George last night. Moving on, bitches. So, anyways, so the whole point is the thought back then is the bigger the woman was, the richer they were. So I think they see a big white woman and I'm just the rich money. But you know what? For Halloween, if I make it, which who knows? I don't know if
talk
I'm
like that.
gonna make
Jesus
it.
Christ, man.
So, anyways, if I make it to Halloween, which I'm counting on, then I'm gonna be a money bag this year, and then I'm gonna put bitch across George's forehead in black.
Right?
And so, no, I seen on the side note, I just seen a thing. It was a movie where they were like chefs, like when they started getting better back in the 1600s and stuff, right? The royal families, like especially in France, they made like they were always creating stuff to bring to the rich families and stuff. When they found out that some of the snacks or the appetizers they put on the plate, they were made from tubers. So they were things, he goes, don't you ever fucking feed me food that is underground again. That's peasant food. He said, don't you ever, ever give me a food that is underground. It's dirty. It's nasty. That's for the poor.
It's kind of weird.
Because it's rich now.
What's
Yeah.
peasant food then is rich food now.
I forgot what it was. I think clams back in the day in England and other
Oysters.
places, oysters, yeah,
It's
were
oysters.
actually poor people. The rich people would not eat it.
Oysters
Now
were a
it's-
dime a dozen back then because they were plentiful.
It was weird because the guy made a little flour. The guy took pastry and worked hours on this. He took and made thin potatoes and he put it around some sort of parsnips and something else. And he goes, what's that cream in there? He goes, oh, that's not parsnips. It's with those potatoes. The guy about threw up. He says, how dare you? And I'm like, oh, shit, man. So, shit's been going down forever, on who can afford what, who's poor and who's not. People were looking at Jesus a certain way back then. So it's like, that's what you brought to supper, man? You didn't bring a pizza? Jesus said, I brought the pizza.
Well, that's not what he said. He said Caesar, Caesar.
Oh, did
Pizza,
he?
pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
Oh.
God, I miss Caesar's pizza. $5 pizza. Oh my God, best pizza
Here's
ever.
the deal. If we showed up at Jesus and I showed up with the Little Caesar pizza, I'm just a poor ass broke bitch. True story. But if Jeff Bezos and Justin Bieber show up with the Little Caesar pizza, it's like, oh, they're keeping it real, man, and they know how to hang with the regular people, and they would be seen as being a regular, normal person that could get along with somebody. But immediately, I'm a fat ass broke bitch. Yes or no? Probably. Because I'm already broke and they know Heidi's broke. It's
Probably.
weird how they put it. Don't matter. See, trolls, if you're watching, because I know you are, you automatically put me in a category. But you can't put me in a cage, bitch. I know you love me. I know you do. I know you do because you want me and because you need me and you need me for content because you suck. Take that. So it's like, when you think about it, it's like people, this kind of fits into the troll shit here lately on these multi-channels. It's like, she's fat. Look how fat she is. She's a pig. She's this. And she caused her health issues and broke and this is, and it's like, what do you know? You're just doing content and your ass is fat and stupid. It just kind of gets weirder by the moment. They say stupid shit and it's like whatever they're saying on you usually, whether they're poor, broke, rich, they're deflecting what's going on in their life. Projection,
actually.
yeah.
It's called projection.
So it's like, I just had to throw that in there
fact,
because
they
you are
even know that
judged
they're
on.
lying. They're just making up shit. It's
So
like, sad.
understand in the Philippines, whether it's an expat on expat. Matter of fact, the expats are harder on expats. It's
The worst
toxic
kind.
here.
Yeah.
We've been to other countries. I've been to other countries over the years. The expat on expat shit here and in Thailand is some of the worst shit. Like they're beating each other up shit. So the situation would just go that, you know, judgment is going to come no matter color, what country you're from, whether you're a Filipino, whether you're an expat, because the expats talk shit about the Filipinos. The Filipinos are sitting around talking about your shit. And
Mary.
believe me,
Yeah.
here she comes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was afraid she was about to.
Here she is. You can bring her. We'll put her up on here so she does it.
I was going to.
Well, hold her and give her a kiss.
I was just
Aw,
trying to
show
make
her.
sure-
Give her a kiss.
I was just trying to make
Give
sure
her a
she didn't
kiss.
do-
No, she wants one on the lips.
Oh no, she hasn't done it.
She did earlier. Yeah. Mary's been cleaning herself. That's George's favorite time. So, anyways, you guys kind of get where we're going on this one. Cindy said, my country's neighbors growing up in the Midwest had a trashy, broken down old home and brand new race car always, dirt poor, all monthly payments. I've seen that a lot. I've seen that in Missouri. Like when I was married before George, and it was a while back that I was with him. It seemed like that a lot, like in the Ozarks. You'd be surprised how many people were dirt broke in these cabin-like houses falling apart that had a bunch of stuff. It's and money and stuff.
No, I'm not picking on anybody, but the most common thing that I see
okay.
that this occurs is usually with farmers. They have the best is F-150. I look at them to see if they're a farmer or not, and what I'm getting at is I was like, oh, okay, it's work, but the speedboat thing, of course, that's I haven't been with anybody who owned that type of stuff. I mean, I've known a lot of people who own boats, not speedboats. But anyway, what I'm saying is, usually, brand new F-150s, 250s are usually farmers, but I know they don't have money. I know they're living on credit, but at least that's for work because they're farmers. They use that truck. You need a truck. You know what I'm saying?
I'm asking now that I'm a flat out. I'm asking AI to tell us why it happens here more than anywhere to see what AI will say. Now I'm letting you know in advance. I'm just getting an AI the internet. I've been to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Costa Rica, Indonesia, and never been skin tattooed. I mean, I've mentioned the countries. I've been to Egypt, Belize, Mexico, lived in the poor areas with the mountain people and the mountain, which would be considered out in the country versus being in Cozumel, like where you're expected to be skin taxed. Canada, Europe, never felt where somebody's trying to close to hustle me or look at me like I got a instant Justin Bieber status and expected to. I don't know. It's just wild.
Well,
But at least celebrities, they will get free shit afterwards. They're just willing to give you shit. Here, they want you to pay.
right. Now, skin
So
taxing is, again, not restricted to a particular country. I'm not talking about your experiences, Kuko. What I'm saying is, if anybody skin tax, that's not a good person. Anybody who skin tax me or my wife or anybody I know, they're automatic down because if you skin tax people, that means you're discriminatory, and if you're discriminatory, that means you have your own prejudices, which means you're self-righteous. So therefore, you're not a good person. Fact, it's not a debate. It's not up for debate. If you disagree with my statement, then that tells me you're one of those people.
is this all Asian
Right.
countries? Hold on. So I'm asking, is it all Asian countries? Because they do give a breakdown because they're being specific about the Philippines.
Right. So the moment somebody
Yeah, it doesn't. It says it's a lot of the Asian
yeah.
countries.
So if somebody skin taxes me or anybody again, I will stop going to that person or establishment. Period. The end. No ifs and buts.
Oh, wow. Listen, it says it's definitely not just the Philippines, but It's the flavor of it that changes. Good wording. Think about it. It's the flavor. It's kind of how it pinches, burns, or seems cold. Maybe it's that it was always there. I just notice it's the way.
No, it's
Maybe it's
always there.
tactless. You think it's just the way
Again,
Filipinos
even in the
either
U.S., it
expect it.
exists.
See, when it talked about the culture and the traits of Filipinos, and I told you there's 5 or 6 things they keep saying about Filipinos, they are saying it's the way the Filipinos do it. It's almost like, I don't care and passive at the same time as give me the money, but don't expect it back situation. And they really don't pay it back. So I guess when they say in the flavor, it's how every culture has a way. If we went to, let's say, we went back to Mexico, they have a way of doing it. So once you've lived in a country for years and years, you start like in America. You're going to notice if you're in Mississippi or you're in California, every state, same thing, has a way of getting over on you. It's the way they're just learning from the locals. The locals all do it the same way. They all break their eggs over the top of the toast, and you'll never see them take the toast and dip it in there. You go to Mississippi, they won't put it in the eggs at all. So every place, weirdly, to explain it that way, every place has something different. I think I went too far just to say it's different all over the world. Because when I asked them there, it says it is frustration, that it comes up a lot in the expat community. And when you're living there day to day and long term, you do start to feel like an ATM. The skin tax and foreign tax is a real phenomenon there in the Philippines. Though it is less about literal government and policy, but it says the individual perception. It's a presumed wealth is the first thing it says.
Yes, presumed wealth.
So let's
Yes.
go through that, because usually they break it down and give you different
Presumed
things.
wealth.
They
Yes.
presume that I'm rich. And I guess that's frustrating because here you have all these expats doing these budgets saying they're living on way less money. But the same vlogger lately says he's on 900 specifically a month, and he does all this traveling, has a car putting gas in it. He goes places, and these people are living high on the hog. I only have 900, but they go on other things about, I planned right for my retirement. I've got thousands each month coming in. I've got a bunch in the bank and all of this. So it's kind of odd on that situation, but the expats tend to perceive that other expats are either super, super broke based on one thing, or they've actually should have had more money or do have a bunch of money. The Filipinos, they all perceive no matter what. Everyone, there's no classism there. They assume that we're all rich, except for, like I said, me, I'm a little chunky. Maybe they figure on spending money constantly.
No. Nothing with what Heidi's saying. Actually, let me up the ante. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me up the ante. A lot of you will disagree with me because a lot of you are probably more naive than you guys realize. And again, this is not a dig at you. If you don't realize it, that's a good thing. If you don't
There are expats
if you
that
don't
even
notice
see
it,
They
that's a
don't
good
see
thing
it.
because that means you're not jaded yet. Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna up the ante. Okay, first we're talking about the Philippines, then we're talking about the U.S. What I'm saying is, it's not localized. It's not the Philippines. It's not the U.S. It's humanity.
Pretty much.
But let me up the ante to you
Assholes are
guys.
assholes no matter
And
what
a
context.
lot of you, I wouldn't say a lot of you, probably 10% of you have noticed this. Guess what? To make things worse in the discussion, here's the reality of it. Not only is it racial, local, or anything like that. Again, it's none of that. It's classism. Let me up the ante. Your friends are classists,
Oh, yeah.
and they treat you well because they think you have more money than they do. Fact. How
Yep.
about that?
Lori Grenier from Shark Tank. I'm signed up on Facebook now because she's been saying a lot of golden stuff here lately. She said, know your friends.
Your friends.
It said for the real part, which I thought it was kind of the opposite. It says when you're down and out and you've hit rock bottom, where are your friends, right? But hold on, she made a good point. I was thinking, well, if they're there, they're my friends. She said, no, they're misery in. They're
Correct.
there to be like, to make it about themselves. Oh, so sorry. They want to see you in
Correct.
misery situation. Now, you can kind of tell when people are true, But
Pay
here's the
attention to
thing.
your
I got
friends.
several friends that I talk to on a regular basis. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Victoria. Um, they're there when things are good. They're there supporting me. We're laughing together. We joke. We talk for a while. We've done video. And it says those are your friends. If they're only there when the misery times, they make it feel like they're always sympathetic and all of that. Yeah, they're there just for, to be down with that moment. I was like, oh, holy shit, that makes sense. Now, there is something, I'll talk about this more on Wednesday. It's crab mentality. Somehow that is like the top subject in the Philippines, that when Filipinos are being sent money from their families and there's certain situations, they're all in. But the moment they come home and start a business and they're doing real good still, and they didn't invest the money they had right, and they're still doing bad, they will pick on that person and rip them down. And it's like they'll talk mostly with the neighbors about your shit. Be like, oh, look at her. She thinks she's whatever. And really, she just looks horrible in that dress today. And look at her makeup. And she just looks ugly and sweaty. And she thinks she's somebody's boss. And they will chismis. I talk about George all the time, even sometimes by myself with the cats. Like me and the cats get in a group huddle. Like 8 and 10 of us. I said, look at George. He thinks he's so smart and because he's got legs and he can walk around up and down the stairs and he thinks he can get some housework done because he's got energy. And geez, George can breathe and he can breathe in the oxygen. And I'm sitting here on a George thinks he's all me and the cats talk shit about George all damn day. But anyways, let me go on about this next one. The cano pricing is what they call it. Whether it's a trike ride, market selling, it says that which is a different one. I've never heard it called the cano pricing. Negotiating on the spot. Local haggling is expected. Now, see, in Mexico and Egypt, I could say they expected it. They kind of lose respect for you. My grandfather, Paul, used to say that. He said, "You ain't negotiating with me." My grandfather will negotiate inside of a goddamn Sears, and I'm like, Paul, you can't do this. You can ask for something.
Yeah, actually, in Sears, yes, you can. No,
Yeah.
no, no. I'm not. Heidi knows this, but I'm just saying yes.
Yeah, so
Yes, you
he would
can.
like to go. Sorry, the internet's cutting on and off. So the situation is they do expect you to negotiate.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm telling you what, they have more respect. I'll tell you
Correct.
what, I've been saying no. I would probably say this past year it's been a no. Like we had that kid walk up to us at not this time, but the time before at the hospital. He walked right up, probably 13-year-old boy. He asked us for money as we were literally getting out of the cab. And I was clearly sick, barely holding up. George is holding on to me. And the kid's wanting to, ask us for money up inside, almost inside the hospital. I'm like, dude, I said, the answer is no, no money. And it was like, he didn't even give us like a moment. And also, there was a certain way that he said it. And they said that's the way the kids ask for it. If they ask a certain way, it means they're in one of those little cliques where they take the money back to a leader. And there's a lot of those click gangs that do that. So you got to watch that. They call it what, a network? What do they call the ones that are all that
Syndicate.
syndicate? And it's the way he said. I think he put his hand out first and said a few words. I was like, no, I knew he was from a syndicate, and I said, go away. So I just don't. We used to get candy and that, and every time we heard the kids out there, I used to run out there, and we just don't. And actually, just like George said, they went away. So, but haggling, if you don't have a local, like I do, George, to do the talking, you're going to get the tourist rate. They're going to start at a tourist rate for sure. The gold purse mentality, the colonial history, Utang na lube, and family needs.
Utang na loob.
That's
Debt
what
of
I said.
honor.
Filipino culture is deeply communal. If one person has surplus, they are expected to share it with the other or the tribe. So I am aware that when, like somebody had said, I've been cussed at, told, approached, all this. If you can't afford to give that Filipino the extra 20 they're trying to get out of you, the 20 pesos, then you shouldn't even be here. You're poor. Again, trolls, other YouTubers, and just in general, the expats. Like if you're sitting like at a restaurant and they overhear things, but it's like, you shouldn't be here if you're that much of a cheapskate. No, not true. I don't want to be nickeled and dimed over 20 pesos, 20
And
pesos.
again, you're setting yourself up and everybody else.
It adds up. Like me and George was talking the other day, between the three stores, we found out there was a 40 peso difference on real butter that we use, like to cook the eggs or that we cook with. We don't buy like the plastic butters. We either use olive oil or real butter. There was a 40 peso difference between the stores. I know this is off track here. And I was like, I started calculating. I was like, holy shit, George, we've been paying like $60 or $70 a year extra for butter.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on, George's gonna tell me something. So, anyways, I'll mention on the side a little bit. So, when you go to certain places, like when we were going to Candy Palace or certain restaurants, you'll get the parking people. Like when we go to Eggs and Breaky back in the day, I haven't gone anywhere in a few months except for the hospital and, you know. But when you're out, they have people that back you out. And George was just telling me we have, like, I've been known to give 100 peso tips. Is that a lot? Yes and no. Either a Filipino won't tip, but 100's a lot. They give 20, they give a coin usually when you're backed out. But I've done 100. So George was just saying that over time and recently they're expecting more from him. But lately, for the last 2 months plus, George has been going out on his own. Like, I'm not out on the e-trike, I'm not in the car. So now he says when it's just him, no matter what outfit. So that's what he didn't want. He didn't know whether to say because he didn't want to put any of the Filipinos on the spot. I'm sure the hell gonna put you on the spot.
Well, yesterday I gassed up. So after I gassed up, the tank was full, but I had to do an errand, and I knew the gas would be around, probably about 250 pesos. But I didn't have any real change on me. I only had 1,000 pesos. So here's an example, just an example. So I gave him 1,000 pesos, and he would break it, right? Here's the thing: after I gave him that 1,000 pesos, and he gave me my change back, he still stood there. I'm like, what are you waiting for, bro? No, I didn't say that. But you guys get the picture. He was still standing there, like, well, where's my tip? I'm like,
I mean, I'm just as evil as I am wicked situation because it's like sometimes I don't want to tip at all. And it's like, well, damn, it's not really expected. And some things we tip no matter what it is situation. Now, when the gas situation, which is still going on, by the way, this false situation of gas dropping by 20 pesos is
what?
only short lived. Like, yeah, they just dropped it. They're claiming it's going down and still is. But now,
That's why
of
I
course,
said what?
it's short lived. But we know that the drivers, like when George isn't here and I have something delivered or whatever, and I, instead of doing like, I think it was like 60 or 50 or 60, because a lot of it's just from across the street situation or things going on. A lot of it's been 100 lately. Like George said, when he goes places, he's not going to give them 100 pesos for this stuff. And either most Filipinos do not tip, but lately on the Grab app, it says consider the gas situation and what's going on locally and stuff. So instead of adding it to the app, I know they've got to wait to get paid for that. I've been giving the 100, just direct. And I was like, oh, they need the cash. And then we've been giving our regular delivery guy. We mentioned that. We give him money, like to go get something to eat, add it to the gas. He's on a motorcycle, but let's see. I've been to Thailand. Sarah said hello. Hello. I think I put that. Hey, Rob. Rob said some countries had absolutely no skin tax. Seemed like the poorer the countries, the more. But even in America, if you know They knew you were military and not from there. They had local only places. Yeah, yeah, I would agree. That's what I mean is that I know they were really poor in Mexico. Like we knew that, like out in the area we was in the mountains and stuff. There's no way there were that many jobs. And when they were out there all day, the exchange. I think like Filipinos probably now somewhere between 10 and 20 is. By the way, they raised the minimum wage again, which is good for Filipinos. Bad somewhere in the economy. I think it officially went up somewhere to 8, I think, which is still under $20 a day. And these people work 12 hours a day. They don't, all this overtime and overwork shit that they do in America doesn't apply here. Not that I'm aware of. I know there's rules, but overall, what I'm saying
Not
is,
really.
yeah, most of them will work if
The
they're
same
making if they're
reason
making 900 pesos a
minimum
day.
wage only affects X amount of people because again, same thing in the U.S. I mean,
They're not going to give you a lot of overtime
you
at a
you
high
have to
wage.
realize it's either you take a lower wage or not have a job at all. And which one would you pick if you had no money at
I
all?
believe it went up either to 8 or 9 recently. And I think when I got here a couple years ago, I think they were struggling at the 4 to 5 number. What's wrong?
No, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing.
But if reported, there are many Korean-owned stores that will not let Filipinos in. Oh shit, we were just talking about
Oh,
that
that's
CDL.
not that's always been there. I mean, it's nothing
Well, the
new.
bars, it's nothing new. Yeah, they
It's
won't
nothing
let them
new.
in. They definitely that's racism at that point when they don't let them in the
That's
bars. What do you,
well,
do they see them as low payers? Someone said it's because they won't pay for a lot of stuff. Like, in other words, other Koreans will buy high end liquors, the
yeah, but
Japanese
that's
do.
nothing new. I
They let the
mean,
expats in, but the bars, they got almost quite a bit of the bars are Korean on Walking Street.
the only
Same
difference
thing.
is
They lock
that
people out.
then, well, in the U.S. it's the same thing. It's kind of like there's certain establishments in the U.S. they won't serve your kind. And when I say your kind, again, that varies. What I'm saying is,
George tried to show up at that Harley
here's
Davidson biker bar, and they
the
said, "Get
difference
out,
is
boy."
then and now is then they just ignore you and don't take care of you. You just let you sit there or stand there and that's it.
Have you felt
But
that?
now, no, because I know better. Um, what I'm saying is I'm not like oblivious. I can tell if a place is certain things. I'm already jaded, as it were, because trust me, in America taught me a lot of things. Now,
That's what our wedding cake said: Jade and jaded.
because again, remember, I've been in KKK areas in the U.S. So what I'm saying is, since that experience, that kind of opened my eyes. What I'm saying is, that's my key point. Even in the U.S., they do this to other people. They will ignore you. They will not serve you. But now the difference is now they'll tell you we don't serve your kind here. That's the difference.
Hmm. Yeah. If you went in poor, looking like you were scraping the money up, they sold it immediately to you. Oh, he's talking about Harley Davidson is a good example. Before they saturated the market, if you looked like you had money, they would sell it to you, but on a waiting list, it said. But it
Nah, that
says
that
that then you said
really took me
if you
off
went in the
because I
poor
was
looking
so
like you were
serious and
scraping the
I
money
was
up,
so
they'd sell it
excited
to
to
you
get a Harley,
immediately. Yeah.
and that really put a bad taste of Harley in my mouth.
Yeah. Heidi, I read the article on Reddit this morning. Funny how small the world really is. You being in the Philippines and me being in Carolina. Yeah. Yep. Sure is. Funny story. I went to high end light fixture store in California. They never helped me until I asked, and then the lady told me the cheaper lights
Oh
are
my
in.
god, I hate that statement. And
Okay.
I hate it when other people do that to other people because I see it and it's like, dude, do you even know like who you're talking to?
It's crazy in this day and age that you would have to.
No,
Like
and that's
rich,
another
only
thing. A
really
lot of people
rich.
don't realize how dumb these people. What I'm saying is, salespeople, like a lot of them are dumb. Like I'm not talking about anybody who's worked in sales. I've seen salespeople turn down really rich folks with my own two eyes. I'm like, dude, you have no clue how rich this person is. It doesn't mean that they're wearing shorts and a t-shirt that they're nobody. You dumbass.
Where's your cup at?
It's-
Oh, you put it in the black one. What happened to your other cup?
I've been drinking
Oh.
out of it. I
Oh,
always
the other
drink,
one has water in it.
I
Yeah.
always drink out of a mug.
Show Cindy, she drinking her coffee. I can't.
Yeah, I always drink out of a mug.
Where'd you get that cup at? What?
No, I don't drink out of the black cup. No.
Mr. and Mrs. Jaded. Dun, 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 dun. Where I get fed up is when I look like crap and I go to buy, yeah, a vehicle is when they run my credit, right? No, that's true story. Hmm. I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's
I've had some really good car sales. I mean, not me selling cars, but me buying cars. I have bought like almost a brand new Ford Aerostar and an almost brand new Nissan Frontier at like 3 grand. I'm not lying. And the first one is because a family friend taught me how. Well, they didn't teach me. They haggled with the dealer and they said, this dude is a hard worker. He's an immigrant. He's over here. No, I'm not lying. This is what they told. He's an immigrant. He just came from, whatever, Timbuktu. And then he's got 9 kids. He's supporting. Oh, dude, the stories this family said on my behalf, because I didn't know. I was new, and I swear to God, I got a almost brand new Ford Aerostar for 3 grand, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man. And then after that, I've said this story to Heidi too and other people. The best deal, I learned that trick, and I bought almost brand new Nissan Frontier for 2 grand, and I sold it for 5 grand literally 5 years after. It's not even, maybe even 7 years after. It was so stupid. But point being is, man, and some people know how to haggle.
oh man.
Yeah.
I was just looking. I am looking pale today, so I guess I am. I thought it was just me
Babe,
looking like a ghost.
you look pale all the time. That's why I keep telling you, have you done your oxygen? Have you done your
I
oxygen?
don't need oxygen.
Oh yeah. Let me look. And I'm a light skinned Filipino. Next to you, I'm look like a dark skinned Filipino.
Okay.
Those who don't believe me, look at me when I'm out and
No,
about.
he is.
I'm a
Yeah.
light skinned Filipino, but next to Heidi, jeez, man. I even tell Heidi, no offense to Heidi, but I tell her, you look like death.
Yeah, lately. Actually, I ran into a serious problem the last 2 days. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. LG said if that person was wearing expensive watch, expensive clothes, and looked rich, he would have not been abandoned by the salesperson. Period. Yeah, LG. We initially, if you guys are coming in, we're almost an hour and a half in. The story started out. We said, "Hey, we're not going to fuck up this live stream. Our audio has been messed up. We blame the cats. We blame
Longer
the
close
cats."
your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips,
Dun, 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 dun.
and you've lost that tender touch with your fingertips.
You lost that
Loving feeling. Whoa, that loving feeling. You lost that loving feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Boom, boom, boom. Stop sucking face with the dog. Baby, baby, I get down on my knees for
For
you.
you.
Boom.
Boom, boom.
Love me, you cheated motherfucker. Get off my back, get off my ass and fix me a snack. Shut your little face. Ooh. Have you used any lightning cream like I do? Like I do. You're getting dark. You're getting dark. You're getting darker. Oh, no longer. I thought it was funny.
Oh, It
Did I
is.
hurt your feelings?
No.
Oh shit, George ain't gonna talk
Yeah.
to me for the rest of the day by saying
This
he's looking a little
this segment's been brought to you.
yeah, somebody's getting screwed later, probably me. You like turn around, and George be like, George be like, I can't breathe. Fuck you, George. I better be careful. It's gonna be like that movie. What's my favorite movie?
I'm gonna give Heidi the David Carradine experience.
Dude. And I'm gonna put that goddamn fucking bag over your head and use some tape. The one behind you, they're gonna find you with that Trotter Joe's bag.
I don't know. I don't know, sir. He had a Trader Joe's on his head, and
That's some duct tape. But I thought you could breathe through that. Oh my God. On the side note, we watched a show the other day, and this woman claimed that they were playing hide and seek. These are 35-year-old people, right? And that he got inside of a suitcase and she fell asleep. She fell asleep and allegedly, and he died in the suitcase. She found him the next morning.
oh my gosh.
And allegedly, the ex-husband was in the house because she called him first and not the police. And we're like, oh, hell no. So anyways, so it was hilarious. Like somebody said in the comment section, playing hide and seek as an adult. I get it if you're doing it sexually or something. And like, we playing hide and seek down there, a peekaboo, and I mean, oh, shit, put some fucking air spray or something on that shit. Stinks, man. So anyways, it smells like fish. I'm not going to get smells like fish. Peekaboo.
Yeah.
Oh, George got sad. So anyways, so that's what had happened, but it was the way that she had went through and did all that shit. It was crazy. So first off, they found the bag upside down. How did he zip himself in and flip around if he had died or something? So I guess the dumbass, they killed him, put him in the bag, and put it zipper down, but claimed he was in there when the cops showed up. There's all kinds of crazy shit.
Remember, he was still alive. She videotaped herself.
In the beginning, but when the cops came, it was face down.
Yeah,
she recorded. He called
the
her name.
dumbass recorded herself.
He was like,
don't wear out my name.
Yeah, Susan.
Don't wear out my name.
I can't breathe. So that's what brought me to the subject. I can't. And you could hear it on video. She recorded him, right? And they put this on. And I'm like, and then she was like, that's my name. Don't wear it out. What do you want? And I'm like, holy shit. It got like bad and stuff. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then, so she had told him one story. And when the cops came in, the bag was up. He's like, well, how did he get in there? And the zipper's upside down. And she tried to explain how she was all zippered in. I'm flipping my wig here. And I was like, what the hell is going on and stuff? But it was, it's like, I can't breathe. So that's why I started telling the story.
Yeah, LG says, yeah, Heidi, you are very pale. Hope nothing is wrong. And Sarah says, Heidi, I thought you looked pale too. No, it's not the light. She is pale.
Last couple times.
Without the oxygen, sometimes she turns blue. I'm not joking. It's like watching the Blue Man
No,
Group.
guys, it's more serious. We had some of the trolls and other people
it's
leaving comments
it's
on their own channel stating that I'm faking and that I'm not sick and that how, with it being made up and everything, that, and it's like, who would go this far situation?
Who would buy a bed and it's still there and I sleep on the couch?
Okay, over the years,
seriously.
content creators have been, you guys knew we're not like upper class rich and all that. So over the years, we would say, hey, it'd be better if we did this or that, or we're trying to save for this and that. And we've had people help us with things, right? And then it always goes into the first time somebody does that, it's e-begging or you're so bad situation, right? And then you think about the ones that are trying to go to Coachella or I need a new bikini sorry, sweet. I didn't mean to, babe. She's here. Here, take her. That my skin's been breaking out fierce too because of the medication. Yeah, look how bad my skin is, guys, from just and that's not cats. That's just breaking out because of my medicine. So beings I'm retaining water inside of my system, like I'm breaking out something fierce all over my chest and back. It's a form of acne, and I asked the doctor why. They said because when your body, being my heart is backed up the water in a nutshell, the water is rising, so it goes from my legs up into my lungs, and that's what's causing part of the shortness of breath. Besides little to no blood, yeah, you can see where I'm breaking out everywhere, and it's because the water is coming to the surface of my skin to a certain point. If I get punctured well from the cat or hit something, I leak water from it. And so a few weeks ago, my legs were doing that. So now my skin's breaking out. I become short of breath again. It seems like I'm retaining every piece of salt. I have to cut back on my fluids. And it's like, but who would go through all of this? And, it's
Well, not to mention you can't fake the loss of color.
right. So at this point, we had recent trolls going on and other people leaving comments like, oh, you're scamming the system, and you're just trying to do this because you ain't got no money. And it's like, bitches, if we would have done it, we would have done it like
A long time ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't choose it for hair. I would say we're getting Georgia breast enlargement and enhancement and getting boobs, and we're doing a trans thing on George so we can send him to work on Walking Street like legitly and shit. But we would go with something that would really be so. I mean, why would we? So, anyways, but yeah, that's way it's kind of went down and everything. But yeah, I mean, I have good days and bad days. Most of the time, I'm down. I mean, like literally in bed, sleeping or medications. There it is. I was trying to get to. Sorry, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for the super chat entertainment fee. Right? That's what we try to do. But again, I know we talked about the last time, and it'll bring me around to talking about me being pale. But again, me and George has had the talk since the live stream that sent the trolls off. By the way, we knew you guys would fucking troll on that shit. Matter of fact, when we created it, don't you think that talking about somebody with a GoFundMe would trigger your happy little pea brains to talk about us? Thank you for the views because that video's hit 2,000. But anyways, no, it's a day to day situation. And saving somewhere between 30 and 40,000, and even mentioning that is a really high goal, which we're still saving for and everything. But if anything, it's helping with the medicine. We got the bed, and we went through all that the last time. But it's like, if we were going to do a full scam thing, this wouldn't be where I would start, is bringing to light that I'm an overweight woman with bad heart that's barely working and my skin's breaking out and I'm puffing up and gained 100 pounds. I mean, yeah, that's the real route to go if we're trying to just scam money and try to get back. It's either I won't go back home because of this, and that. I'm about ready to be thrown out of the country. We're running from Mexico and the authorities, and
Oh my God.
I can't believe it. They're still saying
The
that
weird stuff they come
that
up
comes
with, I
up
swear
with
to
is
God.
that, and I'm like, okay, if that's true, how do we pass all the backgrounds? Oh, she's lying about everything. That's why they let her go. No, you don't get past. What have I had? 6 NBI checks since I've been here. You don't get past those when you have that many background. If they find out you're
Honestly, I
wanted
don't
in the
even know how
US,
many NBI checks, but yeah, same thing
we
in the
brought
US.
something
That
from the
a lot of
US.
people say that I did. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's why I go through this background checks on a regular basis.
Well, you
Yeah,
had
you
full
dumbasses.
immigration. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just crazy, guys. So what they come up with. But you guys are familiar with. In the end, we see it as love because they're fascinating. Then I'm like, well, shit, then it's just content.
Well, it's an obsession.
It's an obsession.
It's an obsession.
And so, but I'm like, I'm good because you ain't affecting my life. Because I mentioned before, there's a few of them that have been in Angel City. You know where I live, bitch. Come on over for the barbecue. Because there were comments that this bitch said that I was looking for them. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. But you know where I am. You know what I mean? But they ain't going to go that far because they lip service. I'm about it. You come in my backyard, come on over. We'll have some tea and cake and crumpets and all that. Order you up a pizza and some donuts. But it's do your content, you crazy fat alcoholic. Let's see. You're so. I'm trying to get back up here. My buddies pay more. Oh, it's because I went further down. Let me get in some of these comments. Let's see. Nickel and dime. Let's see. Oreo. There's okay.
Oh,
What? Oh, is he here? There's one item. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, tell him that's okay. Yeah, we had like one delivery. So I had LASIK eye surgery years ago, and I had a bad stigmatism. Back then it was like $5,000 to fix eyes. So they told me I would have dry eyes, severe. And so, being as we have a fan in here and a dehumidifier in here for the moisture, my eyes are constantly dry. And I'm supposed to use, since that day, they told me your eyes will feel crispy for the rest of your life. And it ain't no joke when you do that. And it, I had to wear goggles with like literal Vaseline in my eyes for like a week. And so now they're dry all the time. I'm supposed to be using the Cystane. It's a certain 3-in-1 drop, and in the U.S. they're about $9-10 a bottle. They're not cheap here either. And I've been just using some local IMO or something that's been inexpensive, and I use them about 3 times a day. And so we had like 5 things coming that we couldn't find locally because we have a solar panel we've had upstairs for a while, and it needs longer wiring, and we couldn't find it local, and it was going to cost 3 times as much for somebody that gave us a quote. Got there, it's not there, out of stock, surprise. So we ordered that. So but the other items didn't arrive today, but one package just showed up. It's the eye drops. So it's like, I know it's a long story around it. Sorry guys, I might jump around here. 100% agreed, nickeled and dimed and shamed into giving more, ridiculous and abusive. Yeah. So and Cindy, um, has been here for quite some time. And as a female, I'm telling you, I've said it from the beginning, in the perspective, I feel they're running a show on me here. Because I feel the male expats, I don't think they would do that as much to George. That's why separated those. We've got like multiple clips. We hung up socks and stuff. George bought one and it's got multiple clips in there. Close in the other room. Anyway, so do you feel that I'm probably being more approached as a female than the male expats that are in their 60s? Do you think that I'm getting sassed more as a female? I feel that maybe it's just 'cause
I don't
haven't
think
hung
so. I think it's about the same.
Okay. So that's just me feeling that way. Rob says, I think a price is good. I don't haggle. My wife gets mad. There are some that is overplaced. Now we have, and I think only once or twice in the local market up the street. I think on them pillows that day we got the extended long pillow. I think we asked for. Sometimes we're like, well, okay, if we buy 2, can we do this? And we've gotten deals. Not by much, but I think it's because you're buying more, and they already knew it was at a certain price. But I think we did that on the
Yeah.
pillows.
Now, just real quick again on haggling. There's places to haggle. Of course, for example, flea markets haggling is fine. Sears, a lot of people don't realize, but you can haggle at Sears when it existed. Kmart, Target, Walmart, of course, that's just dumb. But for the most part, there are certain places where haggling does it. If it does exist, there's nothing wrong with it. Otherwise, it won't exist if it's not okay. Again, like I said, for example, Walmart. If you're
Yeah.
haggling at Walmart, you're in the wrong place. Just shut the F up. You know what I'm saying?
You might be able to when H Gregg still existed, or even at Best Buy, because if you're with a
Actually,
certain,
Best Buy, yes. Thank you.
because
Best Buy, you can haggle at Best Buy, yes.
most of those places
Yes.
can give you at least
Right.
the 10. They've got a coupon somewhere. The managers are
Yes.
holding them. Hey, I'm not going to buy
Best Buy,
anything at
Sears,
all
H Gregg,
situation.
yes. You can haggle at
Yeah.
these places.
Yeah.
When
so,
they existed. The only one existing, I think, is Best Buy.
because back in the day, like if you were in New York or
If it still
Ohio or
exists.
something else, yeah, when it was a personal person store, you could go in and the radios and the TVs were marked a certain thing that was owned by a mom and pop. Then that's when you were negotiating too. But
Actually, here's the thing. There's this true story. I was with a friend. We were at Best Buy, and then the guy was like buying. I can say the story now because it happened probably 10 years ago now. He brought me with him because he knows that I know about stuff, aka washers, dryers, electronics, whatever. So he brought me along, and then so he brought me along as a tag along to advise him, and he was trying to haggle with the salesperson. He says, "Well, can you give me a better price?" And he says, "Well, this and this and this." And my friend goes like, "Can you do that? Can you give me that discount?" And the guy like, I don't know if my friend saw it or not. The salesperson like had his keychain, because I always clip my keychain on my hip. Says keychain on his clip, and I don't know if my friend noticed it or not, but he had his keychain. So let's say this is the keychain, and it was on his hip, and then he walked by the washer and just went like that. And he says, "Yeah, I'm sure I can." Because the reason being is the moment he put a nick on that washer, it's now classified as scratch and dent, which is an automatic minimum 10% off. Point being is, first off, even him without doing that, he already had that 10% leeway to play with to compete with other sellers. So the answer is yes, you can haggle at Best Buy, or used to. Now I don't know, because
Well, when I say haggle, now I'm just talking coupons.
well,
Yeah.
no. What I'm saying is, because you remember, there's still
Now, here's the thing: you can't do that to someone at Walmart, because if a package is partially open, or they notice an expiration, or the day before, you used to be able to. Now, I
well,
haven't been to Walmart.
well, here's the thing. There's a
7 years.
code that you have to pay attention to.
You can walk and ask.
I
and
haven't
managers have marked
been
it down.
analyzing sales in a while. You ever notice you go to a store that everything ends in a 99, 97, 93? 99 cents, 93 cents, 98 cents. The reason being is that's a code for the sellers to know how much margin they're allowed to discount the item. So 99 means there's no space. So if it's 98, that means they have 10%. If it's 97, it's 30%. There's a code, and same thing with the barcode. There's a number on the end that lets them know how much leeway they have. Anybody who's worked in sales will agree with me. It's like, yeah, I remember now that there is a code. Yes, there is a code.
Second one asked what minimum wage would be for 8. They can work them 8 to 12 hours. They're looking at
What
15
hours?
to 20. Yeah, well, no, they'll work them for the money. They pay by the
No,
day.
they'll
Here.
work
They don't
you for
pay by
that.
the hours.
They'll work.
They-
Well, depends on the job, but yes, for the most part, it's per
yeah,
day.
they say
For the most part, it's per day.
4,000 pesos a day. Yeah, and so they don't hand you the money per day. By the way, not normally, unless it's a mom and pop store, but usually they pay X amount of time, just their daily wage. So it's negotiated here. So I don't know, $15 to $20 for 12 up to 12 hours a day. And some don't even get that. I've heard people pay 300 and 400 for 8 to 10 hours on a woman that comes in and cooks, cleans, takes care of kids. They hand wash clothes. They do all the shit, and people are paying this. And then the next person could be paying 2,000 to 3,000 pesos a day for the same work. So it depends on the area. If you're out in a lot changes, including rent, and I think that's a lot of things that people don't take in consideration. Before I came here, I kept hearing these expats say different things, and I didn't pay attention as much as the different areas. And I started looking up rents and this, but so much changes when you get here to find out per area what's costing, and it so much variates. But overall, if you're going to go work at Eggs and Breaky, you're probably talking about 500 pesos a day for 12 hours, which is about $10. So what does that break down? About $1 an hour? Insane. So, and they talk about the silent quitting here. Without a doubt, if I was being paid $1 an hour, and then my bills are 2,000 a day, and I'm only making 500 pesos a day, I would be really. But not all of them silent quit. People work their jobs and do them well. So My buddy pays more than minimum wage and supplies lunch and wants to start a daycare at the factory, but he is American. Yeah. He said, bless you. Oh, I sneezed earlier. Raymond says you were right. Yeah, we're still probably where we were singing and messing around. If a person is rich and dresses like they aren't, most likely they aren't going to buy the high end merch. Yeah, they just pretend to be rich. Rich and free spending and rich and cheap are two different things. No, you're right, LG. I was just reading something on here when I got further down. Poverty driven opportunism. In areas where many people are living hand to mouth, which Philippines is getting there. Not getting there, they are. What is it? 6 out of 10 are in some sort of hand to mouth or day to day real struggle. So is America these days. But not like it is here. They're in a life raft situation, survival. Like the family members are helping each other out. And I told George, if it came down to getting our hustle on, like if all shit broke loose or if we were raising kids, we were talking about, man, that'd be a real struggle to be raising kids right now.
Yeah, what Heidi's saying is, if you don't work today, you don't eat today.
Yep. It's not like us where there's still some money in the bank or we've got 2 months worth of food in the house, even if it is just rice and pasta. They don't, most Filipinos, probably 9 out of 10 households don't do like what we're doing. We could probably open a sorry store, and it's only because we don't, we don't wait, especially the last month. Actually, we're almost 60 days into this Middle Eastern thing. We didn't play around as soon as that started. War actually means that there's going to be issues. And sure enough, it's slowly drizzling down right now. So that's why we've got that much pasta and rice in the house right now. But yeah, and foreign privilege versus foreigner penalty. It's a bit of a double edged sword. While you might be getting service in a high end mall or a celebrity like treatment in a rural area, the same visibility, which is me, fluffy white woman, means that you're going to be a target, it says, for overcharging no matter where you are. Or it does say the way to avoid is to know what the local prices are. It helps, but I'm still telling you, if you approach the stand and they've already cut the meat or done something and then they hand it to you and then say, yeah, I guess you could walk away, but like me and George do, we just actually pay for it. I mean, it helps, but it's still not going to stop them. Because here's the thing, I would say more than half of them don't even have prices anywhere. It's good that you know what it is, but they don't put the price out. So as they're putting it in the bag, and they say 1,200 pesos for your items, you're going to be like, well, you don't know. And it does work that quick. I mean, they'll put a bunch of stuff in you're like, okay, I want this, and that, and they're putting it all in there. Prices are not displayed most of the time. That's why we started to get it directly from the stores, order online, because the prices are visible that way. So yeah. Yeah, she said, looking pale. I love the song. It's just my heart, guys. It's, as those have been following me 2 months ago, congestive heart failure. I have little to no blood going through my heart. I'm at a stroke level, short of breath. You guys can hear sometimes I'm raspy, which hasn't stopped. I'm supposed to be on oxygen 16 plus hours a day. And I have different inhalers. I've got lung medication now. So I'm seeing a pulmonary for my lungs, a heart doctor, and a lupus doctor, and waiting to get stents, or I may not be able to, and it may be full open heart surgery. If that happens, it's over 100,000. So people are like, oh, you're asking for too much money, not enough money. Why are you asking for that money? Blah, blah. And it's like, dude, it could be up to 100,000 here. They said the last person that had open heart surgery with no complications was 6 million, and it's 20,000 per million. And that was from our doctor. He said, yeah, more like what, 6, 7, he said?
7.
That's 150,000. And I get it. We had someone the other day that made a statement, left one on our comment section that said basically same thing, need to get back to the US and they wouldn't be looking for any handout. And it's like, well, if I could, I have people to go stay with. You think I'd be on here just dry begging for pizza and shit, money for donuts? Or it doesn't work like that. So my heart is failing, and I have lupus and autoimmune, the medicines, and I'm on steroids and water pills, and it's not fun. And I can, you know, I was getting old with bad knees and having a hard time going around. Now that I got all this excess water in my body and my body's hardening up, it's hard to get around the house. So I basically can get from one end to the other without feeling like I'm going to drop to the floor. But there's just no air going to my vital organs. I'm retaining probably 80 pounds or more worth of water, maybe even 100, but in just it's in my lungs, it's in everything. It's breaking my skin out. But the new meds have made a big improvement. I just have bad days. So yeah, I think we went there. Yeah. No, I've been pale. Lips are dry. At least they're not a little bit. Oh, did you see that one? Yeah, straight up, I saw that one. Yeah, it was funny. She's like, and she wasn't even sad about it. She was like, it was the original talking to the cop. She's like, yeah, we were playing hide and seek, and I fell asleep, and he died. And I'm like, damn, she had like no feelings about it. Just happened, and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, they did that. And then I was like, I yelled out at George and said, hey, George, she called her ex husband. He came first. And George goes, that's it. They did that shit. And then I was like, oh, and guess what, George? I said, they'd been, her and her man been together like 3.5 years. And he announced when he was talking to cops, he goes, yeah, we just got our divorce last year. Oh shit. It's like, okay, it's going down. Yeah.
Yeah, when you call your ex first before you call the cops, there's something wrong right there and there.
He was there probably the whole time. And then when they took her to the room to talk to her afterwards, they let her home for a few days. They brought her in, and she was like, they were like, he had scratches on his neck. Oh, that's when we had a good time. Them were just scratches from a good. And they described how the scratch was, and they were like, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's one thing if your current spouse, for example, just an example, guys. For example, if Heidi passes away, for example, and I call my mom first before calling the cops, that's one thing. But if I call my ex first,
yeah, and
before the
and
cops,
bring her over, yeah, because he brought her over. He'd been sitting there and stuff.
Yeah, that's a major red flag right there.
Hey, Cindy. Cindy said maybe you should ask for bikini funds like other vloggers. How about I ask for funds to pay for this surgery and my health issues, and tell them I won't put a bikini on in the next live stream? That sounds like a better deal to me.
Yeah, I would somewhat disagree, but okay.
I'm sexy either way, babies.
There it is.
Even like this, even broke out, not even taking a shower for 2 weeks, I'd still be sexier.
Yeah.
Actually, if you think about it, you know who's the rarity in this country right now? You looking at it. I am prime A, fluffy, puffy, white, almost prime A meat. I put myself at prime B, being I got a heart issue, but as soon as I get some stents in there, I'm gonna be hitting the bounce house and shit. Like going down to drink. Look at George bouncing because I'm bouncing on the going to get some red beer.
Don't forget to support the channel. Support our channel again. Just subscribe to Heidi at a Bounce House at OnlyFans.com.
Right? I guess George can't do it, but maybe I should. I can. I'm not so scared. We discussed that shit. A lot of people are like, oh well, you can do this and you can do that. I'm like, oh hell no. I'm not sending my caretaker out there to work walking street. He'll do it for free though. He'll go down there just to hang out with his boys and stuff. But yeah, I'm not sending my caretaker away, and I'm not giving up my Social Security and the chance that I might get better and make it back to the U.S. Let's say I get super desperate, so desperate we go against the doctor's will and shit. And let's say there's a new medicine that comes out in 6 months and my breathing becomes a little better. And then Even if I can die 80% in midair and get a blood clot because of my APS and the things going on, and we get the best oxygen machine to take me there, and I risk it, if I fucking start working and doing something online like that, where it's paying directly in my account for doing a fans only, dancing around like that, there goes my medical. So what the fuck? I ain't giving that shit up in the chance I could ever get fucking home, dumbasses. Not you, I'm talking about where we specifically had troll channels and other channels say, George needs to work and Heidi needs to go do something and you guys aren't trying hard enough, just going to ask for it. Hell yeah, I'm going to ask for it. The same as the other girls do, the same as the guys do, the same as you give away that beer money to that fat fuck on the other channel that's got a raging mouth. That I'm going to be like this. Look, George. Babe, look. Babe, look. I'm going to be like this. No neck Heidi. Babe, show me your no neck Ed thing. No, you gotta do no. Watch like this. It's like,
You're so goofy.
as soon as you guys send me $9.95, I'm gonna lose a few pounds and get me surgery. And be like this, and then after, see, I think I'm delusional from the oxygen thing. I'm gonna be trolling and rolling. I'll be rolling. Dun, 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 dun. I was at a T. Graham Brown show and it hadn't started yet, and the crying started. I was like, WTF? And the show started. Make a book on crazy troll stories. Yeah. For the most part, it's a big fascination, and they're fascinated. And so are a lot of channels on an e-begging thing. And we've covered like trolls that screw up. They screw up. Matter of fact, those guys that are trolling that hard usually have under 2,000 subscribers, multiple channels. They specifically take 5 or 6 channels and pick, and it's like a fascination. But they go on about people e-begging. It's just wild because they e-beg themselves. I could use some sticker money for beer, and then they're drinking on air, and then they're ranting about 7, 8 different vloggers. They can't keep track about what they're talking about. And then, like I told George, I said, yeah, and here I am dying, and people out there begging for outfit money to go to uh, Lollapalooza and this Coachella, and they're begging for brace money, and Filipinas doing dishes, and Filipino men doing dishes, or it's the weirdest shit that people would give up, and then we're just the worst person. And I'm like, that's because somebody loves us. They're only talking about the best. So that's it. Suckers, you're only giving us cat food money. Suckers.
Right, there it is.
Say it, babe. Suckers.
Suckers.
Suckers. Pizza, donut, and cat food money. Maybe we'll just be more honest. Guys, we need cat food money. Let's see.
Well, it's mostly goes on into donuts and chicken, so it's donuts and cock.
Oh shit. Remember when we used to do that one? Hold on. We used to donuts.
Donuts and cock.
Nuts.
There's actually a real restaurant, donuts and cock. Yeah, but
Why
anyway,
is that doing that?
I'm not making that up either.
I wonder why it's doing that.
Always wanted to stop there, but never did. But anyway,
That's weird. We totally lost the.
keyword.
Yeah, and we're frozen.
Oh, because you moved it. Yeah, you have to unplug it and replug it.
I know you guys can do our real e-begging for the trolls.
They can't. Okay, now they can probably hear you.
It must be. Is it on the back?
I would. Well,
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. No. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the American way and the British way. So anyway, Robert says, George, you were in San Diego. What was the huge pizza in San Diego? You couldn't fit in the car. Actually, I haven't been there. I think you're talking about Luigi's Pizza.
The pizza place. Let me clarify. He's been to California and was there.
I was in the Alta Vista area in San Diego. I was far. Okay, it's not far, but it's far. It's on paper. It's like about 10 minutes. Alta Vista is about 10 minutes to the beach, but in reality, it's more like 20 minutes. Um, but I was never a beach goer in San Diego because if you're in California, you don't go to the beach. And what I'm saying, okay, let me rephrase that. If you're from the Pacific, which I'm a Pacific Islander, Filipinos are Pacific Islanders, and you go to California and go to the beach, the climate is different. The water is freezing cold in California, like freezing cold. And I swam in California every day, just not in the beach. I swam in the pool every day, literally every day. I swam every day, literally, without a fault, almost. There's some days I didn't, but for the most part, it's pretty much every day. So that tells you I love the water. But no, in California it's freezing, and Luigi's Pizzeria is by the beach, so I never really went there or saw that pizza, unfortunately.
By the way, I spelled chicken intentionally. I'm
There's an
not put,
Italian pizzeria that I went to almost every day because I played Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcade with the other kids. I mean, not because they're kids, because, who else would you play with back then? I mean, it's whoever's around you. So I played Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcade. And across the street from that Italian pizzeria was Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box? Gotta love Jack in the Box, especially their jalapeno poppers. Oh my gosh. And
George.
funny thing is, it's the grocery store in across. It's kind of like it's a plaza. The grocery store then was Winn Dixie. Go figure. But anyway, or was it Winn Dixie? I don't remember. My memory could be muddled.
Look at there, babe. Read it.
Which one? Oh, support this channel. George and Heidi funeral funds, cat food funds, donut and chicken funds. Don't be stingy. Give it till it hurts. Scan QR code or give sticker.
You totally missed that. He had me mute to say I misspelled chicken. I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to put COCK as you said because then it's written out. And I guess we could be talking about,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I just said out loud, I misspelled chicken on purpose.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So, oh, God, remember when you used to do that to me when we first started the live streams and I'd have a big fight with you afterwards? It's like, why are you always correcting me on air? Why are you always picking on my spelling? And why are you always. So we used to go through it. But no, here it is. This will cause our other trolls to do more videos to say we're begging. Like, goddamn right I am. You're the one that ain't breathing, although you look like you don't breathe. You look like you're going a little, you look like you don't breathe right.
Simon says, "There you go, George, in a song with a sign says, need money, save wife." As he is willing to walk down Red Street, right?
Right? We can, hey, you know what? We can do a car wash thing out
Well,
there.
they'll arrest me for that, though.
That is true. If George goes out there in his mankini now, they're going into subdivisions telling people to get their shit together.
Well,
It's true.
actually, they're not supposed to do it when you're at your house, but apparently they've been doing it.
They are.
Too.
They're going right through the subdivisions. Yeah. People are literally like somebody was in an open garage like area and they literally stepped in and talked to them. They were drinking in without shirts. I'm like, they're inside of their own house under, I couldn't believe it, but yeah, they're getting a little crazy on it. It's the National Bureau of Investigation. Basically, it's somewhat their FBI and their main. It's not even. There's the head of the police departments, and when you go through permanent residency, you go through a year worth of like where they look for things and they do things, and you have like a waiting period, and then you apply again. They rerun your background again, do full background checks and all of that. If you come directly from the United States, you bring police reports, which we initially did. We brought all of our documents when we arrived. So when you go and before you leave the country, if you're here more than 6 months, you have to get a full background check. It checks to see it now for a while has tapped in allegedly. They said they were doing double checks of other countries or like a overall situation. So it's their form of FBI or something?
Well, it is a. It is well. I mean, in the U.S., it's called Federal Bureau of Investigation. Here, it's called National Bureau of Investigation.
Certain times require a clearance. I think when did I have to have one of those with the original ACR card or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if you stay here X amount of time, you have to originally get one to make sure you didn't do something. If you've been here for more than 6 months, they want to make sure that no major crimes went on here or there's a hold on you because they will check to see if other
Well,
countries are waiting for
Yeah, and
you.
then you have to do it whenever you file some form of paperwork because it does expire after 6 months. It
For
expires.
Filipinos, yeah, like certain jobs or
So, for example, when Heidi filed for her, you know, her spousal visa,
yeah, that's what I said.
she had to
Twice
file
we had
for
twice.
again for another NBI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I've done them 6 times here.
Yeah.
So according to people, I'm still running, and I've got warrants in different countries.
Yes, and that's why she's filed, and that's why the U.S. government
I'm being
we get
kicked
mail from the U.S.
out.
government.
George is a criminal and on the run, and
whatever.
it's like
Yeah, no, we get mail
I
from the
might
U.S.
ain't even lying. I might have a bad credit card bill from a long time ago, but you ain't faulting me talking about I can't return home or I can't this. And so the rumors are now saying that this is all fake and that I just refuse to go home. And that this is all to gather money to eventually go
And
home.
that's why
and it's
she's
like,
legal. That the U.S. government knows where she's at, and the Philippine government knows
and we've
where
shown
she's
you
at.
my name is clearly on the government paperwork. So if all that was going on with background
Well,
checks,
and
I
she's
wouldn't.
shown you that the actual the doctors,
We've been here for 4 or 5 years.
the
They would have came here
diagnosis
for me.
is Heidi has
Yeah, the
congestive
paper.
heart failure.
Yeah,
I
if you
mean,
look at the
you
other
can't fake that shit.
lives and
Well, you
like,
can, but
no, you could make
You
could make
can,
fake
but-
documents. We'll admit that, but it's got the doctor's information, the blood test, the. So, anyways, the whole point is it's pretty extravagant that there's that much stuff going on and a lot of love going on. So, but anyways, that's what the NBI thing is. Filipino pizza. Oh, there she is. Yeah, police. They clearance reports and do. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the very first one I got was pretty scary. Why? Because there is actually somebody with my name here. Okay, I don't think was the middle initial off or something, but it was first and last. There is a Heidi Mendoza.
they're so
here.
hardcore that no, it's not.
There's
Heidi's not even her first name. It's the other way around. I think Heidi was the middle name.
something, but she lived in a different
There
area.
was a Heidi, but it's not the same name.
Something was off, and she was in a different area.
It's not even the same area. It's Pangasinan.
So according to them, she had some sort of background here or at one point had been arrested. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm no angel back in the US. I've discussed this with you
Now
guys.
keep in mind they do that in the U.S. too.
We're talking shit that happened 20, 22 years ago. You go ahead. He who is without sin cast the first stone. I'm going to talk about it, but
and then
without.
same thing in the U.S. They will ask like, okay, if you guys have gone through this online, but I mean, if you're in immigration, you do it on. They'll talk to you in person. They'll be like, have you been to X address? Have you been to this state? Have you? They did the same thing to Heidi. Have you been to Pangasinan? Have you? Same thing. They did that
made
to me
go to
in
an
the U.S.
attorney.
Yeah, they did that to me in the U.S. So I'm not surprised when they did it to Heidi because they'll be like, have you been to this place? Were you this? Were you that?
It caused us to have to
Yeah,
do
they're
additional
trying to
paperwork.
cross-reference the names and like.
Yeah, so the end result was they made us go get an
Yeah,
attorney
again.
just to state, and it was weird. I'm like, can't you
we
see
did have to
it's
get
not-
we
I
did
was
have to get an
pissed.
attorney
I
too.
moped
Yeah,
and pissed all the way
that's
through
right.
the
We did
mall.
have to get a lawyer. Yeah.
Because one of the NBIs, this location was inside of a mall. So we had to go on the outside in the heat and walk, which was a lot for me back in the day. We had to go a distance and walk to find an attorney. He was at lunch. We had to wait outside the place for that
In the heat.
which was bad for me at that time. And then it was like, because it was initially when we first got here, and all we had to do was sign something saying it's not me, and here's my ID. This is me.
Yeah.
But they won't do that inside that office. Not for me. And I'm like, wow, you can't verify with my passport and my. Nope, the attorney has to do it, which to me, that's the only attorney that's next to the mall. And it's like, I thought it was some sort of. But no, it's for different people. But it was kind of crazy. One thing that is weird is they say they will beat a price of exact items. Yeah. They have their own model number made on the same TV, different model, so it's not the same. So they don't. Well, yeah, there's like different
Yeah, and
models and
here's the
different.
thing too. You guys have to really remember this. Even right now, to this day, by law, anything on an advertisement, on a pamphlet, on a news or a website, the brick and mortar store is only allowed to have 5 of that particular item on sale. For example, let's say it's Z 2026 Sony TV, for example, and it's on sale for 15.99. By law, a brick and mortar store is only allowed to have 5 of those models. And guess what? Once those 5 models are gone,
Oh, see you later, Sarah.
they
We
can
might have
keep
missed
that
you.
ad up and keep that advertisement up forever up until the next sale. So what I'm saying is, and
So in other words, if they're running it in the paper,
yeah,
they only are required to have five
5
of, and
in the
that's
U.S.
it.
In the U.S. particularly in the U.S. So what I'm saying is, so whenever I see that kind of stuff, somebody walks in the flyer is like, "Nope, we're out," and I'll even tell them like, just so you
Hey, good
know,
morning, NW.
anywhere you go right now, you probably will never see that TV.
We know that second win. I'm wanted in 30 countries. I mean,
There
crap.
it is. There it is. All the
If I
women
was
want
a
me.
pedo in a bikini and just the right looking young Filipina, y'all would lose your mind and not care if I did this, and that. It's just because they hating, because they can't be us and they can't be George getting all that good loving, right, man? We talked about the jealousy and hate of the expats here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know you throwing stones all the time. We have only, it's probably been a few weeks since we've heard him in the message. Look, I'm flipping my wig here in the front. It's been a little bit. We haven't, I think the last we heard is what you guys did. He was in another country. I thought he had come back here. Little concerned because I was like, okay. Because a lot of people get tipped when we talk about both sides of politics or joking about the Hormuz here lately or different things, and they feel we're getting into it. And I'm like, well, shit, you would have thought years ago they would have got mad about talking about old, dirty, dry expats that are pedos. And I've said a lot of things that's rubbed people the wrong way. And then all of a sudden it's based on politics, me being fat, sick, and being a e-bagger. But it's weird. They didn't say shit when we were talking about large age gaps of dirty old men. And it's weird the stuff we've talked about. And now where they want to group me as a political donut eater that's e-begging to death, and it's like, okay, I'll take that for $1. It is weird. I discussed that the other day, how it's weird. It's like, now you want to talk shit? They're just bored, babe. The alcohol and flour just ain't working no more because I'm a loser that's stuck at the back door. I have several in the US of the same name. Heck, I'm an instructor at Penn State College, right? I was really surprised how many people have my name. They're all over Facebook. So it's yeah. Unless you get my DNA off of something, I don't trust anything anymore. AI articles, running backgrounds on people, unless you have a photo of me at the location and it's me and you can verify it's me, drop dead, dude. I wouldn't trust anything coming out
Well, they don't.
in the
Okay.
last 2 to 3 years. It all could be made
Here's the
up.
thing.
Articles
Even the
and
photos,
even
everything can be
videos.
fake now.
That
Even
is true.
videos.
Yeah. So
So
unless you're getting my DNA and I actually say that was me, forget it now. No. All right, guys. I want a donut. Oh, Victoria. We just better wrap it up. There's the cat food money. All right, who's matching the cat food money for Victoria? Yay! Well, I guess you can actually see my veins too.
Well, Cookie never faces the camera. She always points the other way.
Yeah, that's
Wow, you're really that
no. You
pasty,
could
huh?
yeah, you could see the veins through my arms.
Wow, you're really that pasty.
No, my skin's breaking out something fierce. Thank you,
Yeah,
Victoria.
Cookie never faced the camera. She always faces the wrong
Cookie's
way.
the one that really never comes out. Cookie, matter of fact, if George isn't in the room, she's pretty much in her little cat house that's in there's a backside of the kitchen. She's got a little cat house she sits in.
No, she'll stay on my shoulder if I let
Shaggy,
her all
wouldn't
day. She really
Right.
would.
Yeah, there's the Shaggy song. Thank you, Victoria. Wasn't me. Yeah, it wasn't me. It's she. You know, especially the way, let's talk politics, the way that all these different countries and all these people, if they can say it wasn't me, I'm definitely sticking to it wasn't me. Or change the story 20 different ways. You got expats changing the stories, you got people, you got, it's just like now it's like a real cool world to deny everything or not admit. They do all kinds of, the only thing that could really get you and can still be faked is I was telling George that we've been watching those crime shows like Victoria said. And people, there are like here in the Philippines, how are people getting away with anything? There's cameras everywhere. Even the people that like there's um a lot of poor people are in the Philippines, but they'll buy a $20 camera and they have cameras outside their houses. In other words, even in the Philippines, there's cameras all up and down streets. It's not like Big Brother in the UK where they have them definitely everywhere and watching everybody for a long time. No, Filipinos, there's cameras at everybody's front door. They're watching in all different, and it's all up and down our street. There's cameras. So even if ours isn't active, there's other people's watching. And I'm like, but it's funny how like we seen a Filipino like 2 weeks ago. Remember, I showed you he was just walking down the street. He peeked inside the people's door and he went in and took a $30 washing machine. He broke into somebody's house to take a $30 item, and I'm like, he didn't. What was he thinking? No, there was somebody on the street with a camera for sure. Then he breaks in, and the person had a camera in the house, and what it took, and I'm like, and I guess he could say it wasn't me, but yeah, anything could be faked right now. So,
Yeah, and it's not denying if you're spinning.
right. You got cameras too? Not me, said the cat and the little red hen, right? Cindy. All right, guys, it's time to wrap this up. I
Thank you
got
so
to
much, guys. Love you
get
all.
the naps.
Appreciate your
and
support, man.
Thank you. And I'll
Thanks so much, guys.
be back in Wednesday. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you,
Thank you
Victoria.
so much, Victoria, Sarah, Scott, and World, Cindy G, Robert,
Rob,
Second Wind,
thank
Slick Rick,
you.
LG, Oreo Cookies, Tio Chong. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all.
Thank you to everybody. And if we haven't mentioned your name from the bottom of our heart and legitly, I know we joke a lot and go on about this or talk more about it. If I don't talk about it, then the funds just sit stagnant. I'm about ready to do a breathing treatment, so maybe I get some color back to me and everything. But George also is going to repost the what do they call it? It's the GoFundMe. They don't have a real GoFundMe here. It runs through the UK because it's regional locked and stuff. But yeah, if I don't ask or we don't joke or whatever, and we have good supporters, then the munchies, the monies, the munchies in it. I didn't eat breakfast this morning. That's probably not good either with my meds. My munchies does not get paid. So yeah, so it's one day at a time. But I wanted to say, in case people miss it, there are a few that thought we weren't thanking people. We can't respond to every single one when we get different ones. And then we told you that there's only so much of like sometimes we have to wait a week for the funds to be released or something, and then we can't really type anything back. So then it just different things going on. But we do thank everybody from the bottom of our heart for the support.
Thank you so much, guys.
People supporting the channel and just you guys being here watching the other videos of support, because a lot of people we know is a hard time right now. We know our families, mine, I've got like family members still over in the US. Yeah, some of them working 2 jobs. So we know things are tight, but we just appreciate you guys being here. But thank you. Second Wind, not for you. If you ain't sending some of the muscle relaxers and pain pills, I hope something happens to your other back. He's got 2 backs and 2 faces. So
thank you, guys.